Oh, we're playing baseball on a Tuesday night. The roof is all closed up, got some rain in the area, and we're ready for the Marlins and the Milwaukee Brewers. That roof is almost sealed tight to keep us dry inside Miller Park. Derek Dietrich had a big home run last night. He's made the move from the infield to the outfield, and he's got a big RBI run going for the Fighting Fish. Meanwhile, Ryan Braun having a great month of August, 21 home runs, tied with Robin Yount for the franchise record for homers. He's back in the lineup tonight. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Telly Hughes is our reporter tonight. We're looking forward to this matchup. It's the Brewers and the Marlins, game 2 of this series. And Rock, Tyler Cravey is on the mound tonight. So he made a great start at his first start as a Brewer against St. Louis. Everybody very hopeful that Cravey could be that guy to enter into the rotation. Hasn't gone so well for him since. What do you expect from him tonight?
Well, June 2nd was what he needs to do. He needs to establish fastball early in the count. He's been a little bit breaking ball happy. This outstanding work. You see most of his strikeouts and most of the stuff that he was able to do was, aggressive in the count, getting ahead in the count with his fastball. He's got the good split-fingered fastball. But recently, his last 2 starts, he's had trouble in the 5th inning. Gave up 6 runs in the 5th inning against the Cardinals, gave up a home run. And against the Cubs his last time out, 3 runs in the 5th, 2 home runs in that 5th inning. So what he has to do, be very careful. You're talking about establishing fastball. Can't do it down the middle against this Marlins ball club. They like to attack early. They had 6 first pitch base hits in yesterday's ball game. So Cravey's got to turn it around. He's got to start establishing fastball early tonight.
And he knows it is a fine line. Cravey's trying to push his way into a rotation spot for next season. It is audition mode for Tyler Cravey for sure here tonight. Well, a lot of faces have changed. Those uniforms are filled up by players we didn't expect to see this year. Team Photo Day. Telly has more on the ever-evolving Brewers roster. Stay right there.
Big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. The Marlins managed to break the Brewers' 4-game home winning streak in the series opener. Tonight, the crew will look to get back on track in Game 2. Good evening, everyone. I'm Telly Hughes. The Brewers are officially in the midst of a complete organizational change, and it was extremely evident earlier today here at Miller Park during the team photo. That's because today's photo looked nothing like the opening day roster. 8 of the current 25-man roster that took part in today's team pick weren't even on the opening day roster. As a matter of fact, Brewers manager Craig Counsell wasn't in uniform back on April 6th, but he understands this is all a part of the process.
We're in a place where change is happening. We got to be ready for it. We got to be, we got to be open to improving off change and dealing with the the kind of the cracks that change creates for a while, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. And we're at the start of this really, but change is happening.
Coming up, can the Brewers bounce back to even the series score against the Fish? BA and Rock are back after the break with the first pitch and call between the Brewers and Marlins next on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Tyler Cravey and the Brew Crew on their way out on the field at Miller Park. In the Golds here tonight. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Roof is all closed up. Got some rain out there. Thunderstorms in the area. Maybe a tornado watch or warning. I don't know. They say it's pretty bad, but it's all good here inside Miller Park. The safest place you can hang out. We got Big League Baseball tonight. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder and Telly Hughes, our reporter tonight. There is Dan Jennings, first-year skipper of the Miami Marlins, was the general manager, and then after Mike Redmond was let go, he gave himself the job, and the staff of the Miami Marlins naming Jennings, who had never managed in the big leagues before, any other level for that matter, Here's his Potawatomi batting order. D. Gordon, Ichiro, then Martin Prado, Justin Bourne, Derek Dietrich, Cole Gillespie in the middle. Adeiny Echeverria, Tomas Telis will do the catching, and Adam Conley, another rookie on the mound for the Marlins. And speaking of rookies, there is Tyler Cravey. This is game number 6, start number 5, and he's looking for a turnaround.
Yeah, he's winless in 4 starts, 5 appearances for Milwaukee. We talked about it on our open. Very good against the Cardinals his first time out, but last 3 so-so, and earned run average around 6. Lost to the Cubs his last time out at Wrigley.
He's looking for his first major league win, and he deals strike 1 to D. Gordon. The hits leader in Major League Baseball coming into play here tonight. 145 hits. And 2 quick strikes right out of the gates. Gordon, Ichiro, and Prado, first 3 up for the Marlins. They've got some names in their lineup and on their roster, but they are without a couple of big names. A little roller to second base, and Herrera makes a play for the first out. That's how the night begins for Tyler Cravey.
Now let's check out the Brewers Menards defense. You got Davis, Schaefer, and Braun in the outfield. Logan Schaefer gets a start. A left-hander on the mound for the Fish. You got Perez, Segura, Herrera, and Rogers. Jason Rogers gets a start at first base tonight. No Adam Lind, and Jonathan Lucroy behind home plate.
Bill Miller calling the balls and strikes. He's also the crew chief. Ben May, Doug Eddings, Adrian Johnson, the base umpires. And here is Ichiro, and another strike. Nothing but strikes from Cravey, and that's really the name of the game for Tyler Cravey. Has all 4 pitches, and he needs command of at least 3 of those, and if he's got command of 4, he can have a very good day. Segura, no chance with Ichiro running, and that'll be an infield hit.
Yeah, it looked like an off-speed pitch. Ichiro hitless in last night's ball game. Really didn't hit the ball all that hard, but gets a infield single. An infield single his first time up. Really one of those splitters up in the zone, up and away, and Ichiro goes right with it. No chance for Segura to get him.
Ichiro is on the hunt for 3,000 career hits. Just 84 hits shy of 3,000. And he's healthy. He's 41 years of age. He feels strong. He wants to come back, and I'm sure 3,000 is the number he's got his eyes on. Here's Martin Prado. Takes strike 1 from Cravey. Marlins are without Giancarlo Stanton. He's on the disabled list. Had a broken hamate bone right there on his hand, his wrist area. So he's on the DL.
He's starting to take some swings, though. The Fish expect him back sometime in September.
He's still 4th in the National League in homers, despite not playing in a while. Has 27 home runs. It's a lot of offense missing from the Marlins lineup. They are also without Christian Yelich, outstanding outfielder, left fielder who won the Gold Glove last year. So a little bit banged up. They traded 2 of their starters, acquiring some prospects, and traded a reliever as well.
And 2 starters traded, 2 starters hurt, so their starting rotation is a bit of a shambles. Young pitchers getting an opportunity.
Traded away Matt Latos. He's now with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Dan Herron is with the Cubs. One ball, 2 strikes in the dirt. Prado takes it. Lucroy, as always, blocks it well. Brewers lost last night, final of 6-2. Bit of a lackluster performance from the Brew Crew last night after winning 3 in a row against the Phillies. Marlins out-hit them 12-7 last night. They got a home run from Derek Dietrich, and that's way inside. That hit him on a 2-2 pitch. Prado will reach, and first and second with 1 out.
It might have been that split-fingered fastball when he tried to double up on it, this time getting a piece of Prado on the inside corner, or off the inside corner. Very important for Cravey to get off to a good start. I mean, that seems to be the situation for Tyler. He's been able to get off to decent starts, but you know, as he's gone through the game, he's been giving up some runs. We talked about that when we came on the air. That pitch got away from him that time.
First hit batter he's had at the big league level. And that'll bring up Justin Bour now. Big slugging left-handed hitting first baseman. Bour 2 hits last night, 2 out of 5. 2 of the 12 hits that the Marlins posted. Very similar story here with the Marlins and the Brewers. They've got a lot of players in audition mode, and on the mound tonight it is a mound matchup of audition, and Tyler Cravey and Adam Conley. Conley, the left-hander, he's just 25 years of age. Cravey is 26. Both in the big leagues for the first time, just getting their major league career started. And trying to stay in the big leagues. One thing to make it to the big leagues, another thing to stay, especially when you're not a highly touted prospect. Neither of these two pitchers tonight are. Doesn't mean you can't have success in the major leagues, though. Opportunity is there. And a swing and a line drive to left field, playing deep is Davis. He's got it. And there is out number 2.
Yeah, Bour hit that one right on the nose. Boy, that sounded good. Lined out. Tyler Cravey fortunate. Big guy's got some pop in his back going to the opposite field. Hit that one hard, but on the line right at Davis.
So 2 men are out, 2 on. And here's Derek Dietrich. Marlins converted him from an infielder to an outfielder. Put on a little bit of weight, some strength, and he's hit 8 home runs this year. The Marlins don't hit a lot of home runs. They're not giving up a lot of home runs either as a pitching staff. But Dietrich did not miss last night. Jumped on the first pitch from Matt Garza. Takes a first pitch strike this time. Last night, first pitch he saw from Garza, and he hammers one into the walk in center field.
Yeah, a lot of the play with Garza's fastballs in last night's ball game, and the Miami Marlins all over it. One of those nights for Garza just didn't have much location. A lot of pitches over the white of the plate.
Now, since the All-Star break, the Marlins have hit just 13 home runs. That is the fewest in the major leagues. They've hit 6 of those home runs in the month of August with Dietrich's home run last night, and they're missing their big home run bat. And it gives you an idea of how much offense, how much of the power the Marlins have as a team generated through one player, Giancarlo Stanton.
Yep, 85 home runs as a team. 27 of them come from Stanton. Of course, they play in a very big ballpark down there in Miami. It's not big to Stanton, though.
There's Cole Gillespie on deck. Now, what it means, though, and it works the same for the Brewers. A lot of guys getting playing time after the trades and the injuries, and this is the time to shine. Try to make the most of it. 3-1 pitch misses. Going with a changeup there. Cravey staying away from the fastball against Dietrich, and now the bases are loaded in the first inning.
And it's one of the things that the Brewers would like to see a little bit more of out of Tyler Cravey. Be a little bit more aggressive using his fastball. Not so much on the first pitch. It's one thing to get ahead with something off speed, but he's thrown a lot of off speed pitches in this first inning.
And a quick visit from the former Marlins pitching coach with Joe Girardi, Rick Kranitz.
A lot of pitches out of the strike zone in this first inning.
I want to make those first inning trips to the mound, but obviously Kranitz saw something mechanically or pitch selection, and that was a one-way conversation from the pitching coach to the pitcher.
And maybe telling him maybe use his fastball a little bit more.
So the red-hot Cole Gillespie will bat in this first inning. He's hitting .385 this month. Takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. In last night's game, the Marlins against Garza early in the game had 6 first pitch hits. And a number of hitters swinging at the first pitch. And it was a quick attack by the Marlins last night. It'll be interesting to see what they do tonight. Marlins had 3 straight innings where they scored runs in last night's game.
They might be a little patient early in the game because they've never seen Cravey before. Most of these guys haven't.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Gillespie fouls it away. 1-2 the count now. Just saw a trade coming through the wires here. Some of the particulars that the organizations are tweeting that the Padres and the Rangers have made a deal. Will Venables going to Texas for Marcus Green Jr. So the Rangers continuing to add to their roster. They're trying to make a run to the postseason.
Yeah, Venable not having to deal with that crowded outfield in San Diego. Pretty good left-handed bat.
Nice little pickup. You see moves like this in August. You don't think much of them. But I guarantee you there's going to be an August waiver wire transaction trade that is going to pay off huge for a postseason team. It happens just about every year.
Yes, it does.
There's a line drive to right, a base hit. And Braun able to cut it off, but this is going to score at least 2. They're going to try for a third as Braun fumbles with it. And it's going to be a 3 RBI triple for Cole Gillespie.
Well, got a lot to play with that fastball. It was a fastball on a 2-2 count with the bases loaded. So 1 strike away from getting out of this mess, but Gillespie able to triple down the right field line. Ball gets by Brawny. Not sure if he would have been able to hold up Dietrich from scoring had he put in the glove regardless, but a big hit by Cole Gillespie gives the Marlins a 3-0 lead.
And here is Echeverria now, 7th batter of the inning. Echeverria coming in on an 11-game hit streak. It's the longest on the Marlins. Gillespie just added to his hit streak, now 9 in a row with that triple. Very talented shortstop in Adeiny Echeverria. He's had a good year with the bat. He's hitting .285 coming in. Doesn't walk much. Pretty much a free swinger. One of the great shortstops defensively in the game. Don't hear a whole lot about him. He's just starting to settle in. And 1 shortstop to another. The inning is over. Cravey gives up 3. Tough start. Brewers going to have to play from behind tonight. It's a rock bat. It's a rock maple bat.
Those are hard.
Well done. 3-0 Marlins jumping out of the gates quickly against Craig Counsell's Milwaukee Brewers, the former Marlin. And his first season as a major league manager, coming down from the front office. Potawatomi batting order for the Brew Crew: Segura, Lucroy, and Braun. You got Davis, Rogers, and Perez in the middle. Herrera, Schaefer, and Cravey rounding out the starting 9.
Well, Adam Conley getting his 3rd start, 7th appearance. The Marlins are still trying to figure out if he's going to be a reliever or a starter. He was a 2nd-round pick in 2011, 25 years old. Had very good numbers down in AAA, 9-3 and a .252 earned run average in 18 starts.
Slings a fastball in there to get the night started. A strike to Segura. 25-year-old Adam Conley. He is one of 12 Marlins this year, starters, 25 years of age or younger. They've really gone through some of their young pitchers. And you mentioned his AAA year. He was the Pacific Coast League All-Star Game starter this season.
A very similar style to last night's starter for Miami, Nicolino. Fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. Same thing that Nicolino threw last night. So could be an advantage for the Brewers. You know, back-to-back lefties that throw alike.
Segura comes in with a .258 batting average. Very rarely walks. He's got great speed. Brewers are hoping he can settle into the leadoff spot. Counsell likes him there. The statistics don't bear that out, that he's a guy that could hit leadoff, but that's what Craig Counsell is using this year for, to try to establish some roles for these players. And Segura takes a called strike 3. Down it goes.
Segura against left-handed pitching, as Jeanette against the right-handers. Jeanette's been pretty good against the right-handers in that leadoff spot. Let's check out the Marlins defensively, one of the better defensive teams in the National League. You talk about good defense up the middle. Echeverria and Gordon at short and second. Those 2 guys are outstanding. And you got Talise making a start at behind home plate. Only the 3rd start at catcher this year, and first time he's started behind the plate with Florida. No, I should say Miami. I knew I was going to say that.
Ichiro looks a little strange in the Miami uniform.
Very colorful uniform for the Marlins.
The great Ichiro, keeping his career alive. Takes a strike. Lucroy 0-2 quickly. Jonathan hitting .235. He's had a rough year offensively, but he keeps playing. He wants to keep playing, trying to work out some kinks and hopefully get on a good roll down the stretch run, give him some confidence going into the offseason. He's always been a good hitter. He has never really experienced this kind of struggle offensively through the minor leagues, major leagues. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Lucroy fouls it away. Marlins got 3 in the first on a bases loaded clearing triple by Cole Gillespie, the center fielder tonight for Miami. That was with 2 outs in the first inning
and 2 strikes.
A lot of baseball to play. Brewers trying to erase an early lead. Lucroy goes, and back-to-back strikeouts. 2 up, 2 down for Adam Conley.
Yeah, the book on Conley, what book there is. He does like to use the fastball early in the game, particularly first time through. Then second, third time through, was able to get that far. More off-speed pitches early in the count. And you figure the Brewers to be aggressive in the strike zone, at least first time through the batting order.
Now the Brewers have a bit of a book. They haven't seen him live before, but Conley made 3 appearances against the Brewers AAA club, the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, this year. That was his last minor league appearance before he was called up, as a matter of fact. So you can make those phone calls and get those reports. As Braun into right center, that's tailing, and it's down, a base hit. Gillespie able to cut it off. Braun racing to second, and he's in there with a hustle double.
Yeah, just continues to swing a hot bat, and most of his damage is coming to right center and down the right field line, not trying to pull the baseball. Ryan's been playing hard. The team's been out of contention for a long time, but Ryan Braun continues to put out the effort. And thinking double right away, that's the only way he would have been able to get into second base. He thought double as soon as he hit that baseball.
Now Braun now at 23 doubles to go along with his 21 homers. 71 runs batted in. That leads the club. Braun takes off, step off, throw to third, and Braun is out. And the inning is over. And just trying to do too much there. Good poise by the young pitcher. Stepped off, took his time, made a perfect throw to end the inning. Top of the second, a 3-run first. Cole Gillespie driving in all three with a triple. Former Brewers minor leaguer Cole Gillespie. Now to bring up Tomas Telis to start this second inning. And he swings at the first pitch. Getting the start behind the plate. Marlins acquired him 3 weeks ago from the Texas Rangers. Rangers acquiring Sam Dyson, a relief pitcher, giving away Telis.
And Marlins are carrying 3 catchers. Unusual to carry 3 catchers. Telis, the only switch hitter. It's always good to have a left-handed hitting catcher and a right-hander. You got Joe Mathis.
JT Real Muto, who they are very high on and was impressive last night. And Telis, 1-2 the count. In the air, center field. Schaefer will run it down. Well, Cravey could use a nice quick inning here. Needs a bounce back inning after giving up 3 on 2 hits, a walk, and a hit batter in the first inning. Strike to Adam Conley. The pitcher bats left-handed, which gives Dan Jennings 5 left-handed hitters and a switch hitter. So 6 of the 9 that Cravey will face will be batting off the left side. And a swing and a miss. 3 pitches and a strikeout for Cravey. 2 up, 2 down in the second.
Hey, tomorrow is the final Kids and Seniors discount day of the season. The Crew will wrap up their homestand with an afternoon matchup against these Miami Marlins, and all kids 14 and under and seniors 60 and above save 50% on tickets. Call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com for details.
Top of the order here is D. Gordon, all-star second baseman for the Marlins. Back-to-back all-star teams for Gordon. He made it as a Dodger last year. Had a terrific year last year. He's having a career year this year. He's been driving in runs from that leadoff spot lately. Drove in 2 runs last night. The first 2 runs for the Marlins in the 3rd inning. Had 2 hits, was 2 for 5. Only Joey Votto has more multi-hit games in the National League this year than D. Gordon. He has 12 runs batted in the month of August, which is a career high for any month of his entire career as a big leaguer. Getting those chances this year, getting a lot of men on base and delivering.
And it speaks well for the bottom of the order for the Marlins. Getting on base. He doesn't hit many home runs, only 2. Solid year. Good defensively. Steals a lot of bases and getting on base.
2-2 pitch from Cravey. Fouls it away. Cravey beginning the year in AAA, Oklahoma, or rather Colorado Springs. Saw a little bit of Cravey this spring, and he went to Colorado Springs and he's putting together good numbers there. It's a tough place to pitch, but his ERA was at 3.97 as he walks D. Gordon. Never a good idea. One of the great base stealers in the game. Only Billy Hamilton with more. Gordon is aboard, and he figures to be on the move here shortly.
Yeah, D. Gordon with 37 stolen bases, although he's been caught 14 times.
That's the most in the major leagues, caught stealing. 37 bags, second to Hamilton, who has 53 for the Reds. Ichiro, and Cravey will check on Gordon. Ichiro had an infield hit last inning. Big chopper to the backhand side of Segura. He's no longer an all-star performer, but Ichiro still has a lot of presence, still has a big throng of media following him wherever he goes. One of the greatest stars in Japanese baseball history. Sadahara O is up there, I think, on the Babe Ruth level for Japanese baseball, but Ichiro is right up there in that elite group of players. Spent 9 years in the Japanese major leagues before coming to major leagues here in the States. Over 1,200 hits in Japan, nearly 3,000 hits in the States.
And Cravey's spending a lot of time worrying about D. Gordon, as well he should. Keep him close. He's been caught 14 times, as we mentioned. But don't forget about Ichiro. Still got to concentrate mostly on the hitter.
Pulled a very rare feat in his rookie year. Not only did he win Rookie of the Year, he was the MVP in the American League, was Ichiro, and he hammers that one to right field. Braun is back, and he's got it. So the inning ends. Ichiro lines out. Scoreless inning for Cravey. Brewers coming up bottom second. A great time tonight. Lots of kids, lots of families in the ballpark tonight. Soak it all in. Get as much big league baseball as you can before school comes back. And don't forget, we're here in September when school returns. We're ready for you. Chris Davis leads off for the Brewers. Davis, Rogers, and Perez. And, Davis was at the plate when Braun was thrown out trying to steal third base. Actually got taken out by the pitcher. Took off early. Conley showed good poise. He stepped off.
Yeah, never want to make the third out at third base.
It's a little over anxious was Braun. Big swing by Davis. 1-2 the count.
Trying to do too much. You're already in scoring position. You got your cleanup hitter up. And just things you try and do that seem like a good idea at the time and don't turn out very well most of the time.
I feel like I experienced that quite a bit.
Seemed like a good idea.
It seemed like a good idea. And then it's not.
Too late to change your mind, right?
2-2 to Conley, or rather to Davis, and a strikeout for Conley. He's a little funky, Rock. He's got some action there. Some knees, some elbows. He kind of cups the ball.
Slings it, across his body a little bit. Doesn't throw hard, and basically a 3-pitch pitch. You can see that high leg kick brings that arm behind his back in high 3/4, and Davis swings at one out of the strike zone. A lot of fastballs, as we had anticipated first time through the Brewers batting order.
1 away, 3 strikeouts for the rookie Conley. Deals strike 1 to Jason Rogers. Interesting place to start for the windup. Just a nice easy motion, but there's a lot of activity with the hand and the elbow, the shoulder, and you see that baseball get cupped behind the back.
Right there is where it starts to get a little bit unusual, and sometimes it takes you a while to get used to that release point.
It seems very hard on the arm. Remember Rick Sutcliffe used to do that.
Don Sutton used to wrap that baseball and turn that wrist up behind the back.
That ball's ripped. Rogers into left field, a base hit. Rogers would have seen Arnold in the minor leagues, so he is one of the few that have faced him. And the second hit for the Brewers, a clean single to left field.
Actually, a little side note, Cravey and Conley faced each other twice down in AAA this year. Unfortunately for Cravey, Conley won them both. So a little bit down on the trademark for Jason Rogers, but able to center on it and hit it hard in the left field. Rogers hit the ball hard last night off the bench.
He's a good hitter. Council's having a tough time keeping him out of the lineup. Where do you play him other than first base? And a bit of a platoon with Adam Lind. Seeing back-to-back lefties. Hernan Perez jumping on the first pitch, fouls it away.
Yeah, Lind started last night against Nicolino.
I always wondered for a hitter, is it distracting at all? Do you pick up that baseball? You're supposed to look at just like a general area, aren't you, where the release point's going to be? But does the eye catch that white baseball when it's behind his back?
Well, when you're used to seeing a pitcher, you know where that pitch is going to come out of his hand. You know where the hand and release point's going to be. But if you've never seen it before, you're searching for that release point, and ordinarily that's why pitchers most of the time are going to have an early advantage in situations like this.
That's his 4th strikeout already for the 5 outs are K's.
Another fastball.
And Perez did not like that call from home plate umpire Bill Miller. So 2-minute out, runner at first for Elian Herrera.
I think he started every hitter so far tonight with a fastball. which was the scouting report that Darnell Coles has on Conley. And he's proven it to be true.
6 out of 7 first pitch strikes for Adam Conley. Switch hitter Elian Herrera again playing second base. Back-to-back lefties has had Herrera in the lineup instead of Jeanette. Jeanette did have a hit last night in a pinch hit appearance. 1-2 on Herrera.
Just can't center on that fastball. It's only 91 miles an hour. That went up out over the plate. Just can't pick up that release point. Not yet anyway.
A former second rounder by the Marlins back in 2011. Same year Taylor Youngman was drafted. He's from Washington, the Pacific Northwest. He's from Olympia and played his college ball at Washington State. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side. 5 punch outs already for rookie Adam Conley. 3-0 Marlins. We go to the third. They got all 3 with 1 swing of Cole Gillespie's bat in the first inning. Well, prior to the game, the Menominee Falls State Championship team, state baseball champs, were here. Head coach Pete Hansen and Menominee Falls introduced prior to the game. You know who the assistant coach of this team is, Rock? Don August, former Brewer. He works with that Menominee Falls team. So congratulations to them and Coach Hansen.
Called Don August. Had a pretty good curveball.
Well, he's teaching them some good curveballs, I guess. They took it all the way to the Wisconsin State Championship. Good to see him before the game. Great to have him here.
Yeah.
Martin Prado leads off for Miami. And a called strike 3. Prado is rung up. Got some hitters barking a little bit. There have been a bunch of strikeouts. Arnold has, or rather Conley has 5 strikeouts out of Conley, and this is strikeout number 2 for Tyler Cravey.
Yeah, breaking ball. Not sure where Prado thought it was. Maybe down. Not the Don August curve ball, but a pretty good one on the corner. Don August was here 88 to 91. Right-handed pitcher, starter.
Justin Bohr with 1 away. Shift is on for the big lefty. Right now in the National League, the Colorado Rockies are the team that shifts the most. The Brewers are up there in the upper third for defensive shifts. I believe the Rockies and the Pirates are the top two teams as far as defensive shifts go. Ground ball, fair ball, right to Rogers. Nice easy hop. And hit it 2 up and 2 down.
Hit it to the guy that didn't shift.
Well, Rock, it's now time for the fans to tweet us. Tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag WisDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's all brought to you by T-Mobile. Got a Tuesday night day game tomorrow. Then the Brewers will hit the road going to Washington, D.C. and then Cleveland. Got an interleague series coming up on the next road trip. 5-game road trip across 6 days. Brewers will take Thursday off. So after tomorrow afternoon, we'll be back on the air with you Friday night.
Yeah, Thursday and Monday off for the crew. Monday, a day off in Cleveland.
What's a fella to do on an off day in Cleveland?
Go fishing.
Rock and Roll Museum, Hall of Fame.
Football Hall of Fame in Canton. It's about 45 minutes away.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I think that's where I'm going.
We'll meet you there. Should have put a little package together. In the air, right center. Dietrich sends that one deep, and it is off the top of the wall. Schaefer plays it. Long throw in, and Segura bailed out. That throw was close. Might have had a chance at an out, but Segura pulled the glove back. Dietrich flying in on him.
Yeah, jumped over Dietrich. Never able to get the baseball in the glove. That's a good play by Logan Schaefer. He's slick out there in the outfield. He played that perfectly off the wall. Made a good throw. Not to say that it would have been an out at second base had Segura caught the baseball and made a tag. Barehanded throw without really a look, and I think if they throw a little bit off the bag a little bit, that would have been a heck of a collision had Segura hung in there.
Yeah, he was going to have to go in front of the runner on the ball side of the runner. Hard to know where the runner's going to slide, though, in a spot like that. It's a 2-out double for Dietrich. There's a strike to Cole Gillespie.
Ordinarily, Segura doesn't shy away from contact a whole lot, but not sure if he would have been able to get it out anyway.
Gillespie has bounced around quite a bit since his days as a Brewer minor league farmhand. He was traded near the trade deadline in 2009 for Felipe Lopez. The Brewers were trying to make a run. They needed a utility man, switch hitter. Lopez. That was the year after the Brewers made it to the postseason. That was new manager Ken Maka, feeling like he needed an extra infielder, somebody with some versatility, as Gillespie draws the walk.
It didn't seem like Cravey wanted much to do with Cole Gillespie in that at bat. Just as soon go after the guy with not a lot of power. Hechavarria.
So he had 2 men out to start the inning, and then a double and a walk. And now Hechavarria will bat.
Yeah, 3 walks allowed for Tyler Cravey. 3 walks, 3 hits.
And a hit batter.
And 3 runs in.
7 base runners. And we're only in the 3rd inning. Cravey has to have good command, and it doesn't look like he has it going here early. Echeverria is starting to become a Miller Park threat. He has a very high batting average here at Miller Park. 32 career at-bats. He is 14 for 32. That's a .438 average. And a base hit center field. Schaefer, long throw in, off the mark, and it gets back to the screen. Another run trying to score, Gillespie, and he's in. 2-run score. Echeverria all the way to third base.
Well, that'll be an error on Logan Schaefer on a throw into home plate. That not even close to home plate. I'm not sure why Cravey wasn't backing up. He wasn't backing up in the proper spot. Well, you knew they were going to send the runner. Dietrich, you knew he was going to try and score on the base hit. And Tyler Cravey not able to cut it off. Let's see where he is. He's behind the home plate, but not deep enough. Got to get back behind that screen, close to the screen, so you can make a play. He was too close to make a difference.
That'll be a single, an RBI, and then an E8 on Logan Schaefer. 5-0 Marlins. All 5 of these runs have scored with 2 outs. Craig Counsell, you can just see it in the face. Can't play like this.
Hey, make mistakes and they're going to hurt you.
Everybody just trying to do too much, trying to take on too much. Ill-advised throw. Braun trying to steal a base. Ill-advised stolen base chance in the first inning. Bouncing ball, and that's booted. Rogers and Herrera with some miscommunication. Another run is in. And for the first time this year, some boo birds coming out here at Miller Park.
Yeah, Rogers going after it, and he'd be better served just to go to first base. The error is going to be on Herrera. Let's see. I think disrupts his concentration. Does Rogers? He just pulls it back. I don't think that Herrera was expecting the baseball because Rogers was there. Just got there, pulled the glove back, and it was a surprise to Herrera that ball was at him. That'll be an E4.
Yeah, no RBI. Still 2 outs. 6-0 Marlins. Here's the pitcher, Adam Conley. And that's going to sneak through for a base hit. This time Rogers stayed put. And it sneaks through. Conley, the pitcher, with a hit. 2 outs, nobody on since that time. 3 hits, a walk, and an error.
Yep. And once again, 1 out away from having a scoreless inning. It happened in the first, now in the third. And the pitcher getting into the hit parade. Brings the top of the order to the plate. Boy.
And a base hit to center. Gonna send a runner. Schaefer's throw comes in, and the tag, and safe. Close play at the plate. Sedley's almost gunned down, but he scores the 7th run. And they're taking a look at it. That's Jerry Narron, the bench coach. Counsell is waiting on his counsel. Well, let's see if Lucroy tagged him or not. Tough to see there.
Yeah. And he does touch the plate with his hand. Does Talise Lucroy get him on the jersey? It doesn't look like it. Right there, maybe just a small piece of the jersey, too close to tell. Brewers aren't going to challenge.
Rick Kranitz is on his way out again, his second trip to the mound. Brewers will not challenge this.
A little early for bullpen help. Brewers do have activity down in that pen. 71 pitches working here in the third inning, and David Goforth is getting loose.
That's a lonely spot out there if you're Tyler Cravey. You know, he's got a lot of pressure. He wants to stay in the big leagues. Defense hasn't helped him in this inning. But some hard hit balls as well. 7 runs are in. 4 here in the third. All 7 with 2 outs. Here is Ichiro, the 9th batter of the inning. One and 2 on Ichiro. '75th pitch for Cravey.
Trying anything to get through this inning. I mean, he's just about emptied out the arsenal. 28 in the first. 30 in the third, and that's pretty high pitch count in the second too. 17 pitches.
Now you're in bullpen save mode at this point. Try to get through 3. Cravey's spot due up second. Really early to be looking at where the pitcher is batting, but the Brewers are down 7-0 already. Two on, 2 out. 2-2 pitch into center field, a base hit. And they will hold the runner, the pitcher, Conley. Bases are loaded. And Craig Counsell debating whether to make a move here, and here he comes. That's going to do it for Cravey. You feel bad for him. Tough night. Never want to have nights like this, especially when you're in audition mode, trying to set yourself up for next year. So Cravey's done. 2 2/3 innings tonight, and to the bullpen early goes Craig Counsell. Some words of encouragement. It's a good coach who stands in there, good or bad, and he's trying to help out the rookie as best he can. But you know, it is extreme disappointment After a night like this, 2 2/3, 7 hits, 7 runs.
Yeah, 4 rough starts in a row for Tyler Cravey as David Goforth takes over. 4th time he's been with the Brewers. He got called up on Friday from AAA Colorado Springs, where he had 38 appearances, 4 saves, and a .268 earned run average. Last time he pitched was down in the minor leagues at Round Rock. He was here from May 26th to June 9th, and a couple of days in July, early July, then a couple of days in late July. So he's bounced around quite a bit. You know, back making his first appearance in his 4th stint with Milwaukee.
And he's on a lot earlier than anyone expected here tonight. Martin Prado bats 2 outs. All of this has come with 2 outs. 7 consecutive base runners with 2 outs. 4 runs are in. The bases are loaded, and Prado is swinging away at the first pitch.
And go for the mid-90s fastball. He can sink it. He's got a slider and a curveball to go with it. I figure Craig Counsell might want to get a few innings out of him here today. His second real short start in a week for the Brewers. Matt Garza went 2 2/3 a couple of starts ago, and now 2 2/3 for Tyler Cravey.
Youngman.
That was Youngman.
Chicago,
that's
right?
Yeah. Taylor Youngman, not Garza. Sorry, Matt.
He forgives you. Taylor's upset, though. Two and 1 to Prado. Floodgates opening here in the 3rd inning. Marlins scored all 3 of their runs with 2 outs in the first on a 3-run triple by Gillespie. 7 men to the plate in the first. This is the 10th hitter of the 3rd inning. Prado started the inning by striking out looking.
We have 2 outs, nobody on, and Tyler Cravey just couldn't get that 3rd out. Man.
Well, creates an opportunity here for Goforth, trying to settle things down on the mound. Runners take off, 3-2. Prado fouls it back. Got a good cut.
And after him, fastball middle in, 94 miles an hour.
See, Goforth always starts with the baseball in his hand and a changeup grip. Doesn't always mean he throws a changeup, but that's where it begins. And then he can change in the glove. Prado pops it up. And Rogers makes a catch, and this one comes to a merciful end. 4-run score for the Marlins. They lead 7-0. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. By Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. And by Hupy and Abraham. 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. All right, the Bluebeards. That's entertaining. They have not been entertained thus far. 7-0 Marlins as we head to the bottom of the third. And we remind you that Saturday, MLB returns to Fox Sports 1. It's another doubleheader. You got the Giants and the Pirates, followed by the Rangers and the Tigers. Coverage begins at 2:30 Central right here on Fox Sports 1. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Adam Conley staked to a 7-0 lead. This guy's been getting some serious run support. Logan Schaefer, a base hit. Swinging away at the first pitch. And a leadoff single for Schaefer.
Let's see if the Brewers can get something going. And Logan Schaefer's first at bat in this game. And the Marlins have had 3 guys already hit 3 times. That's the way things have gone so far for the crew. First pitch fastball, actually second pitch fastball to Logan Schaefer. Able to hit that one hard into right field. Throws a lot of heaters.
And Goforth up there to bunt. Now needs to go check with Ed Cedar on exactly what counsel wants him to do here. I say you let him swing away.
That's probably what Eddie said. Hey, we're down 7-zip. Get the uppercut.
Have you ever hit a home run?
The old George Badberger line. You get into the dugout down by a few. Let's go, boys. Let's get the uppercut.
This is his first official plate appearance as a big leaguer right here. Swing away, David. That away. All right, next step is to make contact.
That's asking a lot.
I feel something good about to happen to David Goforth, Rock.
Hope you're right.
He's down 0-2. Yes. Takes a called strike 3.
You're right. He didn't get hurt.
That's it. Didn't bounce into a double play. Those are 2 good things that just happened to David Goforth. 6 strikeouts for Adam Conley. Well, at least he got to swing. His first big league plate appearance.
Memorable.
Segura swings at the first pitch and a base hit. First and second with 1 away.
And getting a little bit more used to the release point of Adam Conley. Yeah, so Segura able to pick on a first pitch fastball. Why not, right? He's thrown nothing but first pitch fastballs tonight so far. See if he starts mixing it up with a couple of men on base. Fastball out away from Gene and finds that big hole between first and second.
Here is Lucroy now. 2 hits in the inning, first and second. With Schaefer and Segura. Both run well. Let's see if he can get a quick strike here. Lucroy with Braun coming up next. Second time through the batting order now. And another first pitch swing. Lucroy slices one. Foul.
Imagine Collins just going to continue to pour in those fastballs until the Brewers get something going here. They'll start pecking away, getting close. Last thing he wants to do is start getting behind the count, walking batters. Yeah, change up.
Yeah, pretty good one. That's an interesting changeup, I understand.
Yeah, he's kind of an interesting grip on it. Kind of comes out of his hand on the side, off his little finger. Kind of has a rotation of a four-seam fastball once he gets rid of it.
Two balls and a strike on Lucroy. Yeah, a little pop foul and out of play. And Kyle Lohse throws the Vulcan changeup where he splits the middle finger and the ring finger, but look where he's holding that pitch.
Between the ring finger and the little finger. So
I've never seen that.
That's very difficult. That's a tough pitch to grip, and the way he throws it, it comes out onto the side, and it actually has a perfect four-seam fastball rotation. This cuts down the speed.
Whatever works. Changeup is such a great pitch. Pitchers always trying to find the right grip. Ground ball to second base, and this will turn into a 4-6-3 double play to win the inning. All right, 3 in the books. How about a mulligan? We go to the 4th. Head to the top of the 4th inning. Fox Sports Wisconsin is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Greater Milwaukee to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Sunday, November 15th at Bayshore Town Center in Glendale. To register, visit foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab. David Goforth was able to get out of the 3rd inning. Final numbers on Tyler Cravey: 7 runs, 4 earned in 2 2/3, 7 hits allowed. Poor Brewers defense behind him, and Cravey giving up some hard hit balls as well. So the hard throwing Goforth now tries to settle in after his first major league plate appearance. And Bohr with the shift on right to Herrera for out number 1.
Well, maybe the Marlins hit some atom balls. They've been able to find some holes. They've hit the ball pretty hard, but able to find the holes and get the base hits. 7 hits already. And Craig Counsell was hoping that Goforth can stay out there a while.
One gone for Derek Dietrich, who was walked and doubled at the 2-out double that opened the door in a big way for the Marlins last inning. David Goforth out of Ole Miss. Also 26 years of age. Brewers drafted him in 2011, 7th rounder that year, college pitcher. And he's from Mississippi.
Yeah, hung out today with David Goforth and Corey Knebel at the VA hospital today. There was an event for some of the veterans over there, and had a nice Q&A session. Ed Cedar and Mike Guerrero were with us.
Nice. It's good work. I'm sure you led the discussion beautifully.
It was basically Q&A. Had some opening comments, and nice to get over there and talk to some of the veterans that are getting some treatment over at the VA hospital.
Now that's right next door to Miller Park. Into right center field. Braun can't get there. Base hit. Tough out here, Derek Dietrich. This guy's on a roll. Hit a homer last night. He's on base for the 3rd time already. We're in the 4th inning. A double, a single, and a walk.
They got that one down a little bit off the end of the bat. It hung up there a little bit, but Brony just couldn't get there in time. Big, tall, left-handed hitter, a fastball down and away. Pretty good job of getting a bat on it. Dumps it into right field.
And here is Cole Gillespie now. Goforth has plowed his way through the Brewers minor league system after he was drafted in 11, went straight to rookie ball. Pitched in Appleton in 2012 for the Timber Rattlers. He was a starter back then. Brewers decided they'd make him a reliever in the Arizona Fall League. A little bit of Double-A, he was pitching out of the bullpen, and then in the Fall League as a reliever. Actually used him as a closer at Double-A, and then in the Fall League. That Fall League, that's where a lot of the prospects go, and so that's very good competition. You see, it's most of the top prospects in the organizations. Broken bat, fly ball to Davis for out number 2.
They used to call that instructional league.
There's still that.
Oh, they still have that?
Yeah, instructional league and fall league.
Oh, is that right? All right, hey, tonight's time of the game weather as we digress. Madsen, Miller, American Legion number 330 in Wilson. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
There's no greater symbol of Rock's forehead than that image of that Miller beer can.
Can's looking better every minute.
Yes, it is.
Hey, the instructional league down in Arizona, there's not a hotter place in America than Arizona in the month of October.
That's what your forehead would look like, that down in the instructional league.
You mean that big? Or that white? Or that sweaty?
The perspiration.
Okay.
So you have the instructional league, right? That's more for some of the younger players. It is exactly what it's called. It's for instruction. There's a lot of, there aren't, all of your organizational instructors there. You're going through working on things. And then the fall league is where most of your prospects are.
That's new. That wasn't around when I played.
And what you see there is a lot of scouts. And these are all kind of the top shelf prospects that are playing against better competition. And those are most of the pool of players that you see traded when there are prospects for major league players traded. So a lot of them are coming through that fall league, or rather the Arizona Fall League.
All day games down there, down in the instructional ball. Back in my day, anyway, in Peoria.
David Goforth played in Surprise. That was his fall league spot.
Surprise was a cotton field back in those days. As was Peoria, but they dug out a minor league complex. We would be playing baseball and there'd be crop dusters flying overhead.
Road runners.
It's always good for your breathing. We have crop dusters flying over the stadium.
Yes. Toxic materials.
Dropping insecticides, but hey, we pressed on.
There's a Sun City now in Surprise. That's a huge.
Sun City was there. That's where the Brewers trained. Big leaguers.
It's amazing how the West Valley has grown so much. And Arizona, I mean, it is the premium spring training location. Florida is good. Florida offers the beaches. But the access to all of the major league teams that you get in Arizona, everybody's within 45 minutes.
Plus the weather's so good.
Ground ball to short. And Echeverria is out. And we're headed to the bottom of the fourth. 7-0 Marlins. Brewers coming to bat. He's had a big homestand on Sunday. He matched Robin Yount's franchise record for home runs. And his next home run will have him standing alone in Brewers franchise history. And he figures to hit a lot more. Robin Yount, 251 homers. Braun joined him with that grand slam on Sunday. Powerball home run count. Prince Fielder, third in franchise history. Fielder's having a great year for the Texas Rangers this year, coming back from neck surgery. And here is Braun leading the way.
Taking one of these Conley fastballs, maybe dumping it into that Marlins bullpen right here.
Give him a memory, right?
A lot of his home runs have come to right field this year.
Even in a game like this, it's always that chance to see something you've never seen before. That's what we love about baseball.
What will it be tonight? You never know, do you? You're right.
Could be something from the booth. Never know. Got the breeze machine working.
Got any ideas?
Not yet.
Are you talking about,
I'm not sure.
Rappelling down the wall here outside?
None of that.
None of that?
Still have a tie on. Braun a little bit late.
Something about that delivery. That's 91, 93 fastball, and Brewers really haven't been able to square it up too often.
Adam Conley. And Braun to the right side. Fair ball inside the line. And he'll hold up wisely. Ichiro still has a very good throwing arm. Braun is 2 for 2 tonight. Leadoff single here in the fourth. Chris Davis coming up. Well announced by the junior announcer. Carsoup.com trivia: who was the last Brewers trio to drive in 100 runs each in a season? Good question.
It is.
I wonder if Casey McGee's the third in that group. He had a 100 RBI year.
Had a great season.
2010.
Not a lot of home runs, but certainly drove in a bunch.
McGee and Chris Narveson are Marlins again. There's Casey.
Had a nice chat with Casey before the game. Said that Mac's going to be out when the team goes to Florida. He's going to bring Mac, his son, out.
Big fan of Mac.
His daughter Cooper. Nobody ever talks about his daughter. I feel bad for her. Mac's the star.
He is. Last time I saw Mac in Miami, the first time McGee was a Marlin, he was in full uniform and he was running up and down the dugout and sliding. And, you know, he was like doing a slide in the dugout. He was filthy. You know how dirty a dugout floor can be, right?
Yeah, right.
And he had kind of gone through all the helmets and rearranged them.
You know, Mac's 8 years old now.
8 years old.
Hard to believe.
No balls, 2 strikes on Davis. Look out. Almost hit him. If you don't know the story, Mac, Casey's son, has cerebral palsy, and he's quite the athlete.
He's doing well.
Loves sports, loves to play, and threw out a first pitch in his time here in Milwaukee. Must have been about, what, 4 years old, 5 years old. As a grounder, Echeverria goes to second out there, and no play at first base. Telly Hughes had a chance to catch up with both McGee and Chris Narveson, who both went to Japan, Telly, before they returned as teammates with the Marlins.
Yes, interesting paths, very similar paths. Both ended up going to Japan for one season and ended up signing as free agents in Miami. And when they both ended up on the same team, they just thought how cool it was. But they said they often reminisce about their times in Milwaukee. Both guys enjoyed their times here as Brewers, and they got opportunities to further their major league careers. And they both told me that they are forever grateful of their times and opportunities here.
And it is interesting that those two were in Milwaukee on contending teams, and both on the 2011 Division Championship Club. That was actually a down year for Casey McGee, even though he was part of the team. That was you think about McGee and Braun and Prince Fielder, especially in 2010. Brewers didn't make it that year. Didn't make it to the postseason, and kind of fell off around the All-Star break. But wow, those guys, they put up huge numbers. Casey's been able to carve out a nice career in the big leagues. And for Narveson, that coming off shoulder surgery, a second shoulder surgery, very few pitchers ever come back from that. Narveson's been able to do it. Had to go to Japan 1 year. Loved his experience there. Said it made him a better pitcher.
He got called up on August 5th. First appearance for him in the major league since 2013. He was with the Brewers in April that year. There he is.
With that crooked smile. Stylish left-hander, Chris Narveson. One out for Jason Rogers, who singled his last time up.
And kindly gave him a fastball in. They would have hit it hard enough in the left. That last fastball away. Good hitter, Jason Rogers. Just a matter of whether he's going to get enough at-bats and enough playing time to be able to stick around in the big leagues. I was hoping he can hold down first base. You got Adam Lind over there from the left side, and Brewers tried him at third base early in the season. Didn't work out.
No doubt he can hit, though. He's been good off the bench. He's going to have a place on a big league roster because he swings the bat. And he showed a skill that very few young hitters have, and that is the ability to have success as a pinch hitter. A lot of young hitters, they're used to playing every day. If you make it to the big leagues, you're obviously starring on some level somewhere, and you're playing every day. When you get to the big leagues, Shane Peterson, same story for him. Rogers has 9 pinch hits this season, including a home run. But his defense still a work in progress.
And Rogers 9 for 36 off the bench.
Long battle here between Rogers and Adam Conley. And that ball's ripped left center field, and that's down. Base hit. To the wall it goes. Davis on his way to third will hold there. Boy, Rogers hit that right on the nose.
Oh, that's just a good swing. Watch the way he pulls his hands in to be able to get the barrel of the bat on this pitch. He is so strong. He didn't even really get that great of extension. And Dietrich went over. He misjudged that it was hit so hard. I mean, that is a strong young man right there. Ball got in on him a little bit. Columbia St. Mary's worth another look. Jason Rogers with a rope over the head of Dietrich off the wall and left. Wow.
Had that sound, didn't it? Right on the sweet spot. So 2 on, scoring position for Hernan Perez.
Nick gets in trouble and starts breaking out the off-speed stuff early in the count.
Crowd trying to help him out. 2 on, 1 away, trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. And Perez, little flare, left center field. That is going to fall. A base hit. Davis will score. Rogers to third. The throw comes all the way through.
What kind of throw was that? Just kind of firing it in there, missing everybody. And good base running by Perez to get to second base.
Hasn't been the prettiest of games here.
Marlins now throwing the ball around. Brewers were doing that early in the game, and I'm not sure where this throw is supposed to be going. Airmails everybody and allows Perez to get into second base and take away the double play possibility. Who's he throwing to?
Hernan reads the throw and takes off. Those are the mistakes that drive managers and coaches crazy, and broadcasters and fans.
Well, what you do with a 7-0 lead right there, if you're Dietz, you can throw it into second base to keep the double play alive. I have no idea why he's throwing in where he was throwing, halfway between third and home plate. That's just a bad throw.
And he knows it. Still bugging him. Well, base hit here. A couple of runs score. Start chipping away a little bit. Get a young pitcher on the mound. Who knows? And Herrera, that is foul. Just missed the line. That was close. Would have scored 2. Way inside. Did that hit him? Did not. Thought it might have grazed the jersey. Got Rogers at third, Perez at second. Herrera chance to drive in a couple. And a liner to left field. Base hit. 2 runs are going to score. That'll be extra bases for Elian. 7-3 Miami. 3 runs are in for the Brewers.
Well, Brewers have figured out that fastball second time through that batting order. Wow, hitting the ball hard all of a sudden. Didn't take these guys long. And they get that release point first time up. Starting to zero in on a fastball up and in, and Elian Herrera able to rip it down the line. You know, Dietrich was shaded toward the gap out there in left center, not figuring he was going to pull it. Knocking in a couple of runs. Well, here we go. Brewers are making it interesting here at the ballpark.
I'm going to get a visit to the mound. Marlins pitching coach Chuck Hernandez after that Herrera double. Trying to settle a young pitcher down. Same story here for the Marlins. They're trying to get a young pitcher through a game, get some innings. Bullpen is active right now.
Chuck Hernandez has been a pitching coach a long time, either a pitching coach, bullpen coach. He was actually with the Angels when I was with California Angels. That's how long he's been around.
He's got Kendry Flores loosening in the bullpen. That is a long time.
Well, he was in the Angels organization. Marcel Latchman was the pitching coach then. So he's seen a few things.
We talking big league staff or minor league staff?
Minor league staff back in those days. Around in spring training.
That one misses down and away. Baseball lifers. There are plenty of them. A lot of great knowledge. Guys who have seen a lot. Tell great stories. Schaefer takes a ball.
Yeah, spent 11 seasons as a major and minor league coach with the Angels, 1986 to 96.
Three 3-0 to Schaefer. Taken all the way. Who is your manager with the Angels?
Doug Rader.
What does he rank on your favorite managers list?
Well, he was the only other one that I had other than the guys with the Brewers. Had Harvey Keene, Tom Trebelhorn, Bamberger. That was it.
Schaefer draws the walk.
So he ranks relatively high.
All right. Just by virtue of the pure numbers. Well, you got minor league managers. And who was the most influential manager on your career?
Tony Muser.
Really?
He was there A-ball, AA, and AAA. Great guy. Hitting coach for the Brewers for a while. Manager with the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, I remember that. Tony Muser. So Goforth's going to hit here. Counsell needing the innings out of him. And maybe Ed Cedar saying, all right, this time we want you to bunt. His second ever plate appearance in the major leagues. I wonder if Goforth has his own equipment, his own bat, batting gloves. helmet.
No chance.
Because a reliever, you don't really figure you're going to get many at-bats. Shows bunt. Look out. Way inside.
And probably didn't get too many at-bats down in the minor leagues this year.
I mean, if he didn't have his own stuff to start with, and now he's got 2 plate appearances in the big leagues, then he can keep all this stuff. He now has equipment. Every pitcher wants his own hitter's equipment. I'll tell you what, though, he's got the number on the helmet. That top-notch clubhouse management down there. Tony Miliaccio in the game. Jason Schauger. Timely work. He bunts right through it. 1-2. Struck out his first time up. He's got 2 on, 1 away. Brewers trailing 7-3. And he bunts it foul, and that'll be a strikeout. So Goforth is out number 2. That is the 7th strikeout for Adam Conley. That's a tough decision right there for Counsell. He's, you know, if you're thinking, all right, are we coming back? Are we going to have more in this inning? Versus, do I need more innings out of my pitcher? And he
answers yes.
Wants the innings.
Yeah. Well, that and the fact that you really have nothing other than left-handed batters on your bench other than Maldonado.
This is where Segura can pick up the club. 2 outs, 2 on. Another base hit, keeps the inning going, gets Lucroy to the plate. 3 runs are in. It's 7-3. And into center field. That is going to fall. A base hit. Herrera coming in. The throw's cut off. A base hit and an RBI. Gene Segura makes it 7-4. And the Brewers are right back in this thing.
And the Brewers have now batted around. Well, the Marlins batted around in the 3rd inning. And the Brewers in the 4th. And that's going to be it for Adam Conley.
Started this 4th inning with a 7-0 lead, and Dan Jennings is going to take the ball from the rookie. Cannot get through the 4th. Brewers still at it with 2 outs. And a pitching change here at Miller Park. The Brewers are alive. Only down 3 now and still at it. We'll take a break. And after a 4-run score against the starter Adam Conley, who was dealing through the first 3 innings, it all has turned over. The Brewers are now within 3. They have 2 men on. They'll bring the tying run to the plate here in this 4th inning.
He got called up from AAA New Orleans on August 7th. His second time he's been with the Marlins this season. I called up from AA Jacksonville in June, got sent back down. Now he's back up from AAA. 6th appearance and a .245 earned run average for Kendry Flores.
Well, settle in tonight. It's one of those nights. That's all right. We're in the 4th inning. Brewers mounting a comeback here. They have actually out-hit the Marlins tonight. 9-8. Marlins lead 7-4. Lucroy represents the tying run, believe it or not. Got Braun due up next. First and second. RBIs in this inning from Perez, Herrera, who drove in 2, and Segura just had a 2-out RBI single. You know, the gamble that Craig Counsell takes right there, batting go forth, is that he's trusting his offense that we can get back into this game, make it a game again, and still be able to get some innings after a short start by Tyler Cravey.
I think some of it has to do with what he has on the bench. In all honesty, he's got 3 left-handers and Maldonado.
Too early to go to a pinch hitter, you mean?
Well, a left-handed pinch hitter against a left-hander Conley when he was out there. Those guys aren't playing tonight because Counsell didn't like the matchup with the left-handed.
Well, it has worked. Counsell, regardless of what happens here in this at-bat, has kept his pitcher in the game, and the Brewers are back in it. And now Lucroy can keep it going with 2 outs. The 9th batter of the inning. Into right field. Ichiro going back, and he makes the catch. A good inning, though, has turned it around. It was 7-0 when the 4th inning began. And the Brewers, they get a lead single by Braun. Rogers with a bullet double. Perez an RBI. Herrera then drives in 2. And then Gene Segura with a 2-out RBI. 7-4 Miami.
Park with custom tailgates, all-inclusive areas. Party suites and more. Brewers game is perfect for all groups of all sizes and budgets. To start planning your group outing at Miller Park, go to brewers.com/groups.
A lot of big groups in the ballpark tonight, and the ballpark's got some life once again after the Brewers score 4 runs in the 4th to make it 7-4. David Goforth back on the mound. Finished off the 3rd, worked a scoreless 4th, and now he'll start the 5th against Tomas Telis. Turns around, hits left-handed. Well, it's big news in baseball breaking right now. Boston Red Sox issued a statement that Dave Dombrowski has been named president of baseball operations. As a ground ball, Herrera backhand jump throw in time. Nicely done, Elian Herrera.
And knew he had some time. He had the catcher running down the line and able to make a nice play to get the leadoff batter. David Goforth has been pretty good since coming in. Able to get the leadoff hitter here in the 5th inning.
Good play by Herrera, who had a 2 RBI double in the 4th inning. Pinch hitter coming up for the Marlins. This is Jeff Mathis, one of 3 catchers the Marlins are carrying right now. Yeah, Dave Dombrowski, no wonder he left the Detroit Tigers. Had a job waiting for him in Boston. How about that? Ben Cherington, the current general manager, will step down. Reports are that he was offered the job to continue as GM for Dombrowski, but he declined. So there's a GM search in Milwaukee and a GM search in Boston now.
Well, you knew he wasn't going to be floating around very long. He's been pretty good wherever he's been.
4 division titles with the Tigers, Dombrowski. Well, Craig Counsell was talking about it earlier today with Telly about the changes and the winds of change blowing with teams that have had bad years, and it's certainly happening here. And it's so important to get the moves right. There's a lot of pressure right now on ownership, front office, manager, players, trying to make sure that they spin out of this little downturn with prospects, big league prospects that can help you quickly. And you got to get a lot of decisions right at this point. Can't afford to miss on too many. Goforth with a strikeout. That's his first. And 2 men are out. He strikes out Mathis.
Hey, the advantage of having 3 catchers on your roster, you can pinch hit with one of your catchers. So Flores is gone. And Brewers going to get deep into that Marlins pen.
Conley could not get through the 4th. Four earned runs on Conley line tonight, as many as Tyler Cravey allowed in 2 2/3. 2 up, 2 down here for Goforth. Deke Gordon had an RBI single his last time up. It's a great example of a player who came up, burst onto the scene, a lot of hoopla in a big city, Los Angeles, major market there, and then struggled at the major league level, lost his job essentially, actually went back down to the minor leagues with the Dodgers, came back, had a great year for the Dodgers last year, made the All-Star team, and then traded to the Marlins. So a new spot for him this season. And is having a career year, another All-Star year. He's got a chance to lead the league in hits. He leads both league in hits right now with 146. Got a chance at a 200-hit season. Plays a great second base, and he rips that one back up the middle. Man, that's what he does. He is one of the toughest outs in the big leagues right now.
And he's been able to center on just about everything, and everything hit on the line. Line drives or ground balls. That's what the Dodgers wanted him to do. He certainly found out a way to do it here with the Marlins. And so good speed at first base. 2 outs, nobody on. Has not been very kind to the Brewers so far tonight.
Yeah.
That is a bullet, and Goforth very fortunate he was able to get out of the way.
So that's another multi-hit game for Gordon. That is his 41st. Only Votto of the Reds has more in the National League. One more, 42. Dodgers acquired Jimmy Rollins and then Howie Kendrick. Their middle infield is pretty solid with the Dodgers. So they were ready to move on and feeling like they had options. And Gordon has found a place that he is thriving right now. Sometimes trades will do that for you, especially when you're a big prospect coming up with an organization. And it's a little bit of a, I don't want to call it a wake-up call because he had a terrific year last year. But as you mature and you see the pitching and you learn how to be a big leaguer, especially with his talent, it's all coming together for him. He's starting to push his way, D. Gordon, into star status right now.
Yeah. Does everything but hit homers. He's really flourished at second base this year. Done a nice job defensively.
Yeah, position change for him with Echeverria, the established shortstop with the Marlins. Two and 0 to Ichiro with 2 outs. 2 outs have been the problem for the Brewers pitchers tonight. All 7 runs coming in with 2 outs. There goes Gordon. Lucroy throws to second, and it is late. Ball pops out of Segura's glove. Pitch was called a strike. Gordon has his 38th stolen base of the season.
Yeah, ball sailed just a little bit on Lucroy that time. That ball straight as a string. They might get an out.
Last year, Gordon stole a major league best 64 bases.
It's a good lead, good jump. You see, Segura had to reach for the throw, never had it in the glove.
Runner at second. 2-1. Goforth in. Chopper. Segura coming over, tough hop throw to first, and not in time. Off the bag was Rogers.
I don't know about that. It looked like his leg was over the bag. Let's see if Craig Counsell wants to take a look at that one. Now throw off the mark a little bit. Throw might have been a little bit low and to the outfield side of the bag, and he's out. I mean, he's got the foot on the bag. Maybe it's in front. He beats it anyway.
Yeah, ball's not yet in the glove.
He beats it anyway. First base umpire Ben May said he was off the bag, but Ichiro beat it anyway.
Yeah, and you can see, I think there was a little space between Rogers' foot anyway. Not great footwork over there by Rogers, and that will extend the inning. Ichiro is aboard. So now first and third. Gordon and Ichiro reaching with 2 away. Here's Martin Prado. Well, you got to put up a 0 here. Brewers get 4 runs, get back in the game. Can't allow the Marlins to steal any of that momentum away.
Ichiro can still get down that line, can he?
And there he goes. And Lucroy doesn't bother. Big jump by Ichiro. Second stolen base of the inning. Number 10 for Ichiro.
Big lead, good jump, and no chance for Jonathan to throw him out.
Second and third now with 2 away and a 2-0 count on Prado. in there for a strike. Liner into right center. And this is trouble. This will score 2. Just like that, the Marlins get 2 back. Prado with a 2-out, 2 RBI single. All 9 runs for the Marlins tonight with 2 outs. Man, oh man.
And 2 innings where they score 6 runs, coming with 2 outs and nobody on. Man alive. A backbreaker right there. First 2 out easily. Talise and Mathis, and then top of the order, 3 consecutive hits along with 2 stolen bases, and Marlins get 2 of those 4 runs right back.
Now this is going to be the last hitter that Goforth faces. The last thing Counsell wanted to do after allowing Goforth to bat was take him out of the next inning. But that's what's happening here. Neil Cott's coming in. 9-4 Marlins. We're in the 5th inning. Take a break. Now David Goforth. Goforth taken out with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Here's Neil Kotz now trying to get the final out of the 5th. 2 more runs are in. Goforth giving up his first 2 runs. Trying to squeeze 1 more inning out of him was Craig Counsell, and could not. It's a lot of pitches.
Yeah, 50th appearance for Kotz, a 1-0 record, a .338 earned run average. He's posted a 169 earned run average over his last 32 games. That's pretty good work. Last pitched on Sunday against the Phillies.
There's Justin Bour. Runner goes. Lucroy's throw is late. And the Marlins are running wild here. That's their 3rd steal of the inning. No chance for Lucroy.
Yeah, going on the first move. Not a very big lead, but as soon as he picked that foot up, he was off and running. So Prado with another steal for Florida.
First stolen base of the year for Prado.
That's the 2nd time I've said Florida. Third steal of the inning for the Miami Marlins.
That's $2 in the Florida bucket.
I've got it.
Remember that movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
2, saying there was a line in there that said that the Chicago Cubs are going to win the World Series. They're going to beat Miami. Long before there was a Miami.
Right. They're in the playoffs against each other.
Yes, they were. 2003.
The famous foul ball in the stands.
Wasn't his fault.
He didn't do anything that anybody else would have done. Just a victim of circumstance.
Yep. Marlins won that NLCS over the Cubs, advancing into the World Series, winning it all that year. Two-time World Series champion Marlins. And the first one was the one that put Craig Counsell on the baseball map, scoring the winning run in that World Series. A shot right off of Kotz on one hop out to Segura. And that will end the inning, and we'll have to keep an eye on Neil Kotz. That one got him good. Inning finally ends. 2 runs come in, though, with 2 outs. It's 9-4 Marlins. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And our Carsoup.com trivia. Who was the last Brewers trio to drive at 100 runs each in a season? What do you got, Rock? Is that what you had?
I had that. Yep, I was here for it.
McGee, Braun, and Hart. What a year it was. 2010, Casey's career year.
You were here.
I was here. Absolutely. Ken Maka was replaced by Ron Renicky.
How many did Prince have that year? He had like 90, what, 7?
He was close.
Like that.
We'll get on that.
Maybe around 90, I think.
Get a man on that right now. Ryan Braun, the year prior to his MVP season of 2011. Prince Fielder in 2010 drove in 83 runs.
That's it? Huh.
Well, there weren't a lot of stakes out there remaining for Prince.
Let's see, Casey was hitting what? Was he 5th?
Mm-hmm. Most nights.
Ronnie 3rd, Prince 4th.
Prince bounced back from that season with 120 RBIs the next year. In the division winning season. Fielder is the hits leader in the American League. We're talking about Ichiro leads all of baseball in hits. Prince Fielder leads the American League in hits. And he's hit 17 homers. He's driven in 69 for the Rangers. Good to see him back. He's good for baseball. Speaking of RBIs, we got a great RBI man in the booth. Preston Wilson does a lot of television for Fox and the Miami Marlins. See, that's one.
You get $1 back.
There's Preston. Man, 2003 had 140 plus RBIs for the Rockies.
Yeah, good power. He had great speed, great throwing arm. Can run him down in the outfield, and yeah. And a heck of a broadcaster.
Yes, he is. Our buddies over there, Rich Waltz, Tommy Hutton, longtime tandem with the Miami Marlins. And whenever the Marlins come to town, you have the Hall of Fame connection. You got Dave Van Horn, Ford Frick honoree in the Hall of Fame as a broadcaster, and of course Bob Uecker.
Luke's back at it tonight. He had some voice issues last couple of days.
Braun strikes out for the first out.
So Uke doing much better today. Young man can bring a little bit out there in the mound. They picked him up in that Cardinals deal with Steve Cishek. That was back on the 24th. He was in the Cardinals system this year. 3-0 and a 227 earned run average. And it was 12 out of 13 in save opportunities.
Here's Chris Davis. And Davis takes a strike. Powerball home run leaderboard. Davis is on there. He's third on the club with 12. Braun leads away with 21. Hard throwing Kyle Bearclaw. Never seen a name like that before. I've seen a lot of names. This is the first. Never seen this one. California native.
And you never think it would be pronounced that way.
Little soft liner out to Echeverria for out number 2.
Mariclu. That's how I pronounce it, just looking at it.
Bearclaw makes me a little hungry right now.
Need some sweets, do you?
We could go for a Bear's Claw right
Need
now.
a little bit of an energy boost.
Here's Jason Rogers. Rogers is 2 for 2 tonight, single and a double. He's had a few difficulties at first base tonight. And that ball is ripped into left center field. And it bounces out. A ground rule double for Jason Rogers. Is he ever dialed in tonight?
Well, able to center on a big fastball. He's got some quick hands. I mean, he's one guy that can handle a major league fastball. That was up in his zone, too. Bingo. Out over the plate, up in the zone.
He's got a beautiful swing.
Yeah, able to get on top of it. You know, at that velocity, difficult to get on top of. Some guys might get a piece of it, maybe hit a pop-up, but he's able to center on it and line it into the gap in left center. It's impressive.
First career 3-hit game. And here's Hernan Perez now. A breaking ball from Bearclaw in there for a strike. In the minor leagues, Bearclaw was closing games. First in Springfield, Double-A with the Cardinals, and then in Jacksonville, Double-A with the Marlins. And Perez chases that one. Unable to check it. 0-2 the count. Down he goes. Boy, that's impressive. Big league stuff. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. A scoreless 5th inning. We go to the 6th. 9-4 Fish.
Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. It's the Marlins with a 9-4 lead here at Miller Park at the top of the 6th inning. Time to check in with the crew in the community. Today, Brewers players and coaches visited the Clement Zablocki VA Medical Center and took part in a Q&A session with veterans. The group of Brewers, which included Corey Knebel, David Goforth, Eddie Cedar, Mike Guerrero, and our own Bill Schroeder had the opportunity to spend some time with and thank the men and women along with their families who have sacrificed their lives for our country. BA?
Good work, Rock.
Yeah, nice
going
visit.
out there
they
today.
had a barbecue out there, hot dogs, hamburgers, some soft drinks, and veterans from the Iraq War, Afghanistan, Korea, and Vietnam were out there this afternoon. And guys did a good job answering some questions. And like I said, Ed Cedar was out there, and Mike Guerrero, they did a bang-up job. And the 2 young pitchers out of the bullpen for the Brewers. Not sure how many opportunities they've had to do that with some of our military vets, but they enjoyed it thoroughly.
Corey Knebel, David Goforth. Well, Kotz, after a glancing blow on that line drive, I thought it hit him a little harder, but he's able to continue on. Stung him a little bit as he was walking out last inning. Got the final out of the 5th, and he drills Dietrich right on the elbow. Ouch. On base for the 4th time, Dietrich. Just one of those nights at the ballpark.
Well, he's got that pad over the elbow.
Ouch. That one like went between the elbow. I think it may have hit him on the forearm. No, it got him in the ribs, I guess. Ouch.
Don't rub it.
Too late.
Back in the old days, they wouldn't have rubbed it. Preston Wilson wouldn't have rubbed it.
Here's Cole Gillespie now, who started this mess with a 3-run triple in the 1st inning with 2 outs. All 9 runs for the Marlins have come with 2 away. You see that rain in Chicago?
I did.
I mean, it is pouring. They got the tarp down. It's raining here in Milwaukee, but we would never know because we're inside under the roof. All of our truck dwellers are passing along the weather updates.
Is that part of the updates at Wrigley, a roof?
No, not yet. They do have a scoreboard though, but no roof. They wish they had a roof. They're in a delay in the third inning. The Tigers lead the Cubs 5-2. Big game for the Cubs. They all are from here on out. Ground ball through, base hit. Cole Gillespie with another knock. It's his second hit, his third trip on. And these two guys here, Dietrich and Gillespie, responsible for 7 trips on base in this game.
And it's been everybody up and down this batting order for the Miami Marlins getting it done. Gillespie's always been a pretty good hitter, good contact hitter. It's a matter of finding consistent playing time.
You know, the interesting game in the big leagues tonight, Rock, the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. So Pittsburgh had an 8-3 lead going into the 8th inning. Think about the Pirates bullpen, right? As
really
good as it gets.
Yep.
8-3 lead going into the 8th inning. Diamondbacks have tied it. They got 3 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th. And they're in the bottom of the 9th now.
Playing to review.
So the Pirates, who are trying to keep pace with the Cardinals. St. Louis added a game to their lead with a win last night to go up 6 games in the division. Cardinals are trailing tonight 1-0 to the Giants in the 6th. St. Louis is just a buzzsaw.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe what they've been able to do. I mean, you look at their roster, they don't jump out at you as a dominant team in the major leagues. Their record does. They just collectively play so well together, and they come at you with great arms.
They don't make mistakes.
76-42 are the Cardinals. You know, they have not lost more than 4 in a row all year. So they really haven't hit a big skid. And even though the Pirates are playing really well, Pittsburgh is 22 games over 500, and yet they're 6 games behind in their division.
Right. St. Louis 45-18 at home.
Yeah, and they're at home against the Giants tonight.
Ridiculous.
It's a matchup between Ryan Vogelsong and Lance Lynn tonight. Two-2 to Echeverria. Jam shot. You have a chance to turn it. Got to hurry it. And Segura's jump throw is in time.
A little unorthodox, but they're able to get the job done.
It's not a guy that doubles up a lot. Dietrich ends up at third base, but 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat for Neil Kotz.
Yeah, not the way you draw it up. You don't work on it in batting practice like that. Yeah, Segura able to make the leap and get a good throw, gets him by half a step.
Here's Tomas Telis back on the right side now with Kotz on the mound. Hey, good pitch, curveball in there. Or slider.
Well, he's got them both.
That one came in at 87. That was a little firmer than the curveball, I guess.
It's a slider down and in, the back foot slider.
Also has a cutter, which is a little less of a break. Illinois native. Says he's moving out of downtown Chicago into the suburbs now. Growing family. Neil Kotz. He's a pro's pro, Neil Kotz. Goes about his business. Never really hear much from him.
Yeah, pretty quiet, isn't he?
Just happy to be still pitching. He thought his major league career was over 4 years ago. 6 years ago, actually. He started to have problems with the hip. Surgery on the hip. Had to go back for another surgery. It was the Texas Rangers who gave him a chance. Even with a failed physical, they gave him a shot. AAA 2 years ago in his comeback. He's pitched for the White Sox and the Cubs and the Rangers. Swing and a miss. He chased one. Talise is out. Inning is over. A scoreless one. 9-4 Marlins. The Brewers coming to bat in the 6th. Five runs were in the 6th inning. And as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #WisDataStrongFan. Comes from Dina. I'm guessing Dina is the one on the left, Rock. There.
Yeah, Hank is on the right.
Oh, that's right. That's Hank. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Use that hashtag. You might have a chance to show up at a broadcast. That's not the real Hank. I feel like the real Hank has been somewhat replaced by that Hank. Real Hank, he's stepping aside.
He's at the next level.
He's kind of like Bob Uecker level.
Oh, he's Dog of the Year. He just doesn't hang out for a year. He's got to have special occasions to show up at the ballpark.
Great point. Great point. Yeah, his Q rating is off the charts. He doesn't just show up for anyone. Not like us. We kind of just show up whenever.
Yeah, limo rides to the ballpark for Hank and spa day.
Kyle Bearclaw back on the mound. An impressive 5th inning for him with a couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, good, quick, hard slider and that big fastball for him.
Even the pitchers the Cardinals don't want and trade away are talented. He was at the Double-A level for the Cardinals. I tell you, the stuff he's throwing right now, I mean, he looks like he's got a chance to be a closer in the big leagues. It's early, don't want to put that on him, but man, he's throwing hard. He's got a nasty breaking ball.
Yeah,
slings it in there.
That's a true slider, that last one. Going straight down, not a lot of movement on it. You see that changeup grip that he has in his hand right now. Put it in the glove and change it. He doesn't want to throw a changeup. You can get that fastball up as high as 98 miles an hour. He's got a cutter. Let's see, he was actually holding out as a split finger pitch. Yeah, that's a splitter.
And that's a foul tip into the mitt of the catcher. They're calling it an out, but the third base umpire, Adrian Johnson, says it hit the ground. And Dan Jennings just making sure, the Miami skipper, yeah, that hit the ground. It's a good call. Good teamwork by the umpires.
Adrian Johnson's on his game in this series. One of your favorites behind the plate.
He had a beautiful strike call last night. Very throaty. In the air to left, hit pretty well. Back is Dietrich, and he's got it for the out. One away. The Houston Astros are trailing tonight, 2-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays. Keeping an eye on the Astros. They've got Carlos Gomez and Mike Fiers over there. Gomez has a hit tonight. Has a single. He's 1 for 2. He's not been playing well. Maybe pressing a little bit as a member of the Astros. He's had a couple of miscues defensively as well. Brewers got 4 players, 4 prospects, all top 20 prospects from the Astros. And a number of them are performing very well. 3 of them went to Double-A. Maverick Phillips is the headliner among that group. Number 2 Astros prospect. He's swinging a bat well. Santana's a Triple-A. He's swinging a bat well.
Yeah, he's raking it about 380 since he came over to Milwaukee in Triple-A. I'm surprised you're going to see him at some point.
Santana, Domingo Santana, he's been to the big leagues with the Astros. He played in a doubleheader yesterday and had 4 hits in the doubleheader. So Domingo Santana Rock, who is from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, in his 17 games with Colorado Springs is hitting .368. 14 RBIs in 17 games. Jam shot, little pop up. Echeverria cruising back and makes the catch. Made it look easy.
Hey, don't miss the Crew's final Free Shirt Friday of the season as the Reds come to town on Friday, August 28th. And fans at Miller Park get a free Brewers t-shirt courtesy of Arise Health Plan. To reserve your spot, call 902-4000 and go to brewers.com today. Is that your favorite one?
You know, this is my new favorite right here. The Arise white t-shirt. See if I can make them disappear. Nope. Still here.
Like a bullfighter. It's nice. Quick.
They've been a big hit, the Free Shirt Fridays.
Right.
And they're good shirts, too, you know. They're
good quality workmanship. Yeah, I know. Yeah. What size is it?
That's neither of our sizes.
XL. Mike Faulkner's size.
Yes, it is. I saw a picture of Mike Faulkner, superstar statsman. He was 12 years old. He took a picture with Hank Aaron at County Stadium. Cool, very cool picture. He asked me if Hank was going to be at the ballpark tonight so he could recreate that photograph. The answer is no. I don't think so. There he is. And he looked just like that when he was 12 years old. It's amazing.
Why is he picking on you, Mike?
I'm trying to get him a picture with Hammer and Hank. It's been 50 years since that photo, that moment in time. Jeanette, a pop-up, pinch hitting, and that'll end the inning. All right, Rock, we're going to the 7th. It's 9-4. Still a lot of baseball to be played yet. Take a picture with Bernie. Got a good crowd on hand on a Tuesday night. 9-4 the score here. Oh, Brewers fantasy camps coming your way. Tell you what, it's one of the greatest experiences of your life. I've done it twice. Camp coordinator Bill Schroeder is the best in the business. Go to brewers.com/fantasy camp. It's not a throwaway line. I mean that.
No, it is
You're the
true.
best camp coordinator in the big leagues.
Well, thank you. And you will get another camp at some point.
Thank you. I might need 2 this year.
Hey, we got big news today. Robin Yount is going to be at fantasy camp for a couple of days this year. So the kid, the Hall of Famer, Robin Yount, that's breaking news. That Robin has shown up at camp before, but has never actually spent 2 days at camp coaching and carrying on with us. He'll be at the Q&A and the happy hour at the hotel. So sign up, get to know Robin Yount. And you know who else is coming? Bob Uecker is going to be showing up.
Not 1, but 2 Hall of Famers.
Exactly. Yep. That's right.
The icons of the organization.
Yep.
As Corey Knebel takes to the mound here in the 7th. So if I'm a fantasy camp participant and I'm on the fence about coming or not, my question would be, am I going to be able to get an autograph from one of those guys?
Absolutely. That's why they're there.
Oh, they're there to sign autographs for the campers.
Well, that's, all the coaches are there to give everybody a good time. That includes autographs, pictures, that type of thing.
All right.
What do you, I mean, you think he walks around in a bubble?
Now I'm in.
I mean, he's there, but there's a fence around him. You can't touch him.
Put him in the Pope Mobile.
Of course.
I mean, like you parade him through. There he is.
No,
Everybody look at Robin.
No, he's just like one of the coaches.
Like a normal guy.
Right. Come on.
He's a regular guy.
Now, you're just being funny now.
He shows up and he hangs out and he tells stories and he signs a few autographs.
Right.
Great.
Pictures.
Well, I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was thinking about doing it, I'd be in. I've been in twice. I still have some shoulder injuries from that, but that's okay. That's part of it.
Well, there's professional trainers that will take care of that for you.
That is the best part of it.
I think your shoulder's a little bit beyond the trainer area. You're looking more at the surgery.
I think so.
But no, Robin and Bob Uecker will show up at fantasy camp this year. January 31st, everybody flies in. February 7th, the morning of the Super Bowl, everybody flies back to Milwaukee, and you'll be there in time for the kickoff.
Kickoff of the Super Bowl.
Right.
And you'll get to see sunshine and green grass and play a little baseball. All we do is ask you try not to blow out the first day.
Got to take it easy, ease into it.
You definitely have to ease into it. D. Gordon retired. 2 up and 2 down for Knebel. It's a great time, fantasy camp.
Yep, filling up. We got some spots left, but that's a big pool. I'm excited about having Robin at camp.
My other question would be, what kind of uniforms do we get this year?
Throwbacks. Ball and glove.
Oh yeah.
Get a BP top. Everything included except for your dinner at night.
Yeah, you get lunch.
Breakfast.
Get the full big league experience. I think it's a great idea.
As much Miller products you can stuff in your gym bag every night on the way back to the hotel.
Comes in handy. And the cold tub properly chilled at 53 degrees. Sounds awful, but it's really necessary.
Refreshing.
Those first 2 minutes, though, whew, that's torture.
Yeah. Keeps the swelling down, You're going to feel better in the morning.
Yep. It's worth it. It hurts, but it's worth it.
Airfare included.
2 games a day, right?
Yep.
What will your role be this year at fantasy camp?
I'll be making sure that Robin doesn't sign any autographs for you.
Camp coordinator.
Right. Yeah, Gorman and Gantner are going to be down there together. That's worth the price of admission in itself. Cecil Cooper. Mike Caldwell's coming. Rob Deere. Cirillo.
Ichiro lines one in the gap, left center. Schaefer cannot cut it off. Ichiro with a double.
They have 4 hits for Ichiro tonight.
Still impressive after all these years. He's got a lot of baseball in him, you think. Every hit.
Well, he's going to be around at least until he has those 3,000 hits. He's not that far away. What's he, 81 away now? 82 away, something like that.
81. 81 hits from 3,000.
Not going to happen this year, but I would imagine sometime mid-season next year it's going to be 3,000 hits for Ichiro. He will be in the Hall of Fame for sure.
That's a 2-out double. Marlins have done all of their best work with 2 outs in this game. All 9 of their runs have come with 2 outs.
Here's the other thing about fantasy camp.
No, I don't. I was going to ask you though, what is the other thing about fantasy camp?
We really encourage the ladies, the wives to come down at the end of the week. We have some neat things planned for them too. Spa day.
Nice. You can also participate.
Right, if you want.
If you want. There's been female participants in the past.
We make sure the ladies are happy. They control the checkbook. At least in my house.
Brewers.com/fantasy camp. Is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Well, it has been a bit of a stinker so far. Brewers down 9-4. Marlins scoring 9 runs on 13 hits. We'll see if the Brewers can get it turned around here. Got some baseball to play as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Weekdays, don't miss America's pregame. That's Mike, that's Molly. They bring you live reports from around the country, the latest from NFL training camps, get you ready for a full night of Major League Baseball action. That is America's pregame every weekday at 4 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Gene Segura will lead off for the Brewers. New pitcher is Eric Cordier.
Now the Brewers certainly, if nothing else, have gotten deep into that Marlins bullpen. Let's see if that might have some kind of an effect on tomorrow's game. Who knows? 9-4 Marlins in the 7th.
Jam shot roller. Echeverria bobbles. And that's going to be his 2nd error of the series.
He came in with only 6 errors all season long, but lack of concentration, and Echeverria with another error.
Well, he got in front of it. He two-handed it, but just couldn't keep it in the glove, and it'll be an E6. Courtier was called up from AAA New Orleans yesterday. He just got here with the Miami Marlins, getting him into a game quickly.
Here's Lucroy with Segura at first. This has been an ugly game. Poor defense. And had some wild throws that have led to extra bases. Brewers have committed 2 errors. Echeverria now commits an error. A lot of little leaguers in the ballpark tonight. You got to hide their eyes tonight. This is one of those nights.
This is one of those, you know, the do not disseminate. This is not one you want to disseminate around Milwaukee.
Without express written consent. Hide your eyes, son.
Right.
Doesn't mean you can't enjoy your time at the ballpark. I'm always amazed at Miller Park, you know, with the bad weather and some tornado watches out there. It could be dangerous weather-wise, but Miller Park, it's closed up. Could still have a great night, comfortable night.
It's
a lot of groups.
Actually, a place where you should go when there is really bad weather. One of the safest places in the city.
They're still delayed in Chicago at Wrigley. They've been delayed for a while. Same band of thunderstorms. 3rd inning there at Wrigley between the Tigers and the Cubs. Astros managed to tie up the Tampa Bay Rays. That game's 2-2, 9th inning now. Big win tonight for the New York Mets. Beat the Orioles 5-3. Jacob deGrom won again. He's looking like a Cy Young Award, legitimate Cy Young Award candidate right now. Gave up 1 run in 7 2/3. Did deGrom. How about those Mets? Started the day 4.5 ahead of the Nationals. Washington had Jordan Zimmerman on the mound today. They are tied with the Rockies 6-6 in the 7th. Yankees won again. They beat the Twins. So the Yankees will remain atop of the American League East, leading the Blue Jays. Runner goes, and Lucroy fouls it back. Toronto beat the Phillies tonight, so the Yankees remain 1 game ahead of Toronto. That's turning out to be a good race. Baltimore's in that race. Right now in the American League, the wild card teams are the Blue Jays and the Orioles, and then the Angels, the Rangers, Twins, Rays. They're all in it. 6 teams for 2 spots. In the National League, the Pirates and the Cubs are the wild card teams. Cubs have a 4-game lead in the second wild card spot over the Giants. And Mets, Cardinals, Dodgers are the division leaders.
It's going to be a lot of fun these races down the stretch. A lot of good races yet.
You think the Central Divisions in the National League is going to have 3 teams in the postseason again?
Yeah, you would think. I mean, if everybody holds up, right? I mean, the Cubs.
That's the way it was 2 years ago.
Cubs would be ahead in 4 different divisions, and they're 3rd place in the Central.
9th pitch of the at bat, fouled away. We hit the home stretch now in Major League Baseball. Season ends the first weekend in October. And then there'll be a tiebreaker date, then wild card dates, and then the division series begins. Baseball announced their postseason schedule this week. Brewers will play the Cubs in the final series of the year right here at Miller Park. Normally, Lucroy, when he's right, is not going to be around this long when that cluster of pitches is right in the middle of the strike zone.
Right. He's usually hammered one off the gap into the gap somewhere.
10th pitch of the at bat, and Segura takes off. Doesn't matter. Lucroy walks. So Lucroy is aboard. 2 men are on now, and he's 6. Now a walk. Nobody out. Here comes Braun. Braun 2 out of 3. Double and a single. Well, the next home run Braun hits, he will stand alone as the franchise leader in home runs for a career. Sitting on 251 career home runs.
How about now?
Ground ball to second. 4-6-3 double play.
That's the way it's going, isn't it? Well, things looking good. A couple of men on, and Brawny hits it right at D. Gordon. He never even had to move. An easy double play for the Marlins.
98-mile-an-hour fastball there.
He doesn't have to move. Right at him. Talking about positioning your defense properly. Doesn't get much easier than that.
Cordier, the 4th Marlins pitcher. The 3 relievers have done a good job thus far, not allowing any runs. Flores, Bearclaw went 2 scoreless innings, and now Cordier. Adam Conley, the starter, had a 7-0 lead but could not get through the 4th. Brewers cut it within 3 with a 4-run 4th inning, and then the Marlins got 2 right back in the 5th, and that's where we've been ever since. 9-4, bottom 7. Blocked by the young catcher Talise. Keeps a run from scoring. Brewers have used 3 relievers. Tyler Cravey struggled to start. 7 runs, 4 earned. Brewers play poor defensive baseball behind him. Goforth came on 2 innings, 2 runs, and then Cotswin an inning in the 3rd scoreless. Knebel just pitched a scoreless inning. Day game tomorrow, day off Thursday, and then a series against the Washington Nationals. Starting to wonder what the Nationals are going to look like when we get there on Friday. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of discussion about possible managerial change. Matt Williams might be on the hot seat right now. Who knows?
Yeah, with that team, well, you got to wonder what's going on over there. We'll find out, though. Get into D.C. on Thursday night.
Nationals had a 6-4 lead against the Rockies, but that game's now tied in the 7th. 6-6. Full count, 2 outs. Runner at third. Davis takes ball 4. Second walk of the inning. And that'll get the hottest hitter of the night for the Brewers at the plate. Jason Rogers will hit. He's got 3 hits, career high for him. First at bat came in the second inning. Had a single into left center. And then these next 2 hits, rockets. Had a double in the 4th. Went all the way to the wall. And then this double went upstairs and got one. Ground rule double back in the 5th inning.
Get on top of a 95-mile-per-hour fastball and ripped it into the gap.
He's got a chance at some RBIs here. 2 outs, 9-4. Marlins lead, and Rogers takes one inside. Jason has been able to raise his batting average 23 points tonight with his 3 hits. Has just 111 plate appearances. In the air, center field. Going back on it, Gillespie at the wall. He makes a catch. Man, oh man, it was close. Rogers almost had a 3-run homer. Instead, a long, loud out. That's the way the night is gone for the Brew Crew. Don't worry if you've missed all this. It hadn't been pretty for the Brew Crew tonight. Gillespie had a 3 RBI triple in the first inning. Deke Gordon has 2 hits and a walk tonight, including an RBI, but Jason Rogers has driven in a few. Gene Segura had an RBI. Rogers with 3 hits tonight. Brewers actually cut it within 3. And then Martin Prado drove in 2 runs to make it 9-4 at the time, which is where we are right now as we head to the 8th inning.
Boy, Jason Rogers, huh? I thought that ball was out of here off the bat.
I did too.
Would have made things interesting, 9-7, but just able to catch it right up against the center field fence as Will Smith works the 8th for Milwaukee, 57th appearance. Tremendous numbers for Will, 6-2, a .222 earned run average for Will Smith. Not normally you're going to see him in a game where the Brewers are down by 5 runs in the 8th, but that's where we're at this point. Last pitched on Saturday against the Phillies and picked up win number 6. Came in, got a batter out. Brewers able to get some runs, and Milwaukee ended up winning the game, and Smith got the victory.
Facing Justin Bour to start the inning. A couple of big lefties matching up against each other. You've been watching all these combined scrimmages and workouts in the NFL. Every one of them has had a fight.
Guys
every day.
They're testy, aren't they?
You see somebody from the other team.
Guys trying to make a team. And
I mean, it feels a little bit like a WWE kind of thing.
you think it's staged?
I mean,
Is that what you're saying?
every scrimmage.
So you're saying it's all put on?
And they're in the headlines every day. There's a called strike 3. Will Smith with a strikeout. I'm just saying, it seems excessive. I don't remember this many fights.
Me either. Guys trying to make a club, right?
I mean, this guy's getting like punched in the face. These are like full out brawls.
Geno Smith.
Yeah, well, that was by his own guy.
Right, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
They're fighting each other, and then they're fighting, when they have these combined scrimmages with other teams that they're sharing training camp. I'm fascinated by this.
Tough out there. Guys trying to make a living.
I was kind of thinking about this game and the way it's going and all the fighting in the NFL training camps and thinking that might not be a bad thing right here. I mean, we don't want to see fights, but, you come out and mix it up a little bit. No, it's not that way.
It used to be. Got a little bit more testy. I think the rules were a lot different back then. I mean, you could, get into a little bit of a dust up, and you're not going to get suspended and fined as much as you are these days. It's frowned upon.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
It's a softer, gentler Major League Baseball.
And then you talk about, the era, 60s, 70s, 80s. There's some
80s.
good brawls. But then you think about back in the teens, 20s. I mean, it was just straight reckless.
Right.
They had players going up into the crowd. And I mean, there's stories about Ty Cobb going up into the seats.
Yeah.
So it's better this way. As a strikeout. Will Smith back-to-back strikeouts. Good job, Will. 2 outs here.
Good to see that Will Smith can keep his focus in a game that the Brewers are down by 5. And other times you got your back end of your bullpen pitchers, and they're in games like this. Not to say the Brewers don't have a chance to come back. They certainly do. But this is not as a situation where you would normally see Will Smith.
Starts him with a curveball, a dandy. It was a rule that was instituted back in the 90s. Anti-violence policy. They put it in the minor leagues. And depending on what level you were, if you left the bench or got in a brawl, I mean, there were severe fines. Severe. And that's where the culture of the bench clearing brawl changed. Because it used to happen all the time. Big leagues, minor leagues.
Well, you can't throw at guys anymore. I mean, you get, the penalties for doing that. I mean, you always got guys thrown out for, for what umpires deemed as intentional throwing at a hitter, but it's a little bit different now. The fines are much more stiff.
Smith with a 3-up, 3-down inning. Good one. Two strikeouts as well. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
errors in this game. Over a 3-hour game already here tonight. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Brewers down 5. But, Davey, as we get set for Brewers Live, one of the big eye-popping numbers are the 2-out runs scored by the Marlins. All 9 with 2 outs.
I know, and that's why the Brewers couldn't close the door at all with 2 outs. And, boy, 9 runs with 2 outs, whew, not good.
9 runs with 2 outs, indeed. All right, we'll talk about that and plenty more. Catch up with Craig Counsell. All in Brewers Live postgame coming up right after the ball game, B.A.
All right, thanks. Davey has a way of putting things, keeps it all in perspective, right?
You know what he means when he like, not good, but he didn't say not good.
He just went woo. Shattered bat, and Perez is out. What is that, a birch bat right there? I think that's a birch bat. I can't tell between the maple and the birch.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We gotta brush up on our back composition.
Maybe get a text message from Jason Schauger, perhaps.
He'll help us out. Down the Brewers
Whatever
clubhouse.
it is, it breaks in half.
Destroyed in 3 pieces.
Not like the one Elian Herrera has. He's got the ash.
Now, how do you know that's an ash bat?
Well, just the way it looks. You can see the grain. On those other ones, you can't see the grain on them.
So there's 3 kinds of bats now, right? Ash, birch, and maple. Is that right?
I think those are 3. There might be more.
So those grain, oh, I see. The lines on the bat.
Yeah, the grain.
The grain.
Yeah, that's a flame-treated bat right there.
See, I'd like that. Just because I'd like a bat that was flame-treated.
It's cupped.
Sounds good.
That's a maple. You know how I can tell?
Says Pro Maple. Well, I got to ask Elion now why he is choosing to use a ash bat here when he has a maple bat over there. I feel like there's a big notch in Elion's bat. Did you see that?
A knot?
There's a notch in the barrel of the bat. There's like a chunk out of it.
No, I don't think so. You know what those blue marks are?
What are those?
Where he hits the ball with the tee.
Oh.
That's from the tee.
That's a swing and a miss.
The hitting tee.
And secured it first with a strikeout. It's another thing I didn't know. I didn't know you brought your gamer bat. I didn't know you used your gamer bat off the tee. Jonathan Lucroy had a batting practice bat last year. He used it the whole year. Never broke. The whole season.
That's a good year.
Batting practice.
It's a good year.
Think about how much contact. Not that guys go around breaking bats in BP, but you figured it would just.
I don't think the gamer is such a big deal these days, the way they break all the time. You go through bats very quickly these days. You go through a lot more bats than I think we used to. I mean, there was always guys that broke a lot of bats. You know, Deere always broke a lot of bats.
What's a bat run a fella these days?
$89, $90. Doesn't run a fella, an organization.
That's true. Schaefer takes a strike.
Yeah, the fella doesn't care. He doesn't whip out.
Fella's got everything he needs in there. Whole bag full of them. The spoils of the big leagues. But the talent you have to make it here is incredible. Extraordinary.
Yeah. Got to be pretty good to play high school. You have to be really good to play college. You have to be exceptional to get to the minor leagues, and cream of the crop to get to the major league. They call it the show.
Got a piece of home plate umpire Bill Miller, who's been back there for this marathon. He's seen a lot of pitches. That one hurt him. You can see it. Three balls and a strike on Logan Schaefer. Single and a walk tonight. 1 for 2. Schaefer looking for his second hit. And he's hanging tough. These are all important at bats for a guy like Logan Schaefer. Every game, every inning. Fighting for his big league life. He's wanting to stay in the show.
This is pitch number 316 tonight.
Oh, it's good work.
Not by me.
Staff. Schroeder staff.
The production truck. They never give up.
Brent Reland, your producer tonight. Mark Vittorio directing. Vito. Full count on Schaefer. Long battle here. And that's foul. Will it stay playable? That's Gillespie out there to make the catch, and that will retire the side. To the ninth we go. 9-4 Marlins. You go, girl. 9-4 Marlins lead the Brewers as we go to the ninth inning. And this Brewers broadcast on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Book your stay now. Jeremy Jeffress will have the ninth. Smith was impressive in the eighth.
Yes, he was.
Couple of Ks, 3 up, 3 down. This game has been 9-4 since the fifth inning.
You see the numbers for Jeremy. Appearance number 53 and a .315 earned run average. More strikeouts than innings pitched. 15 walks, 49 strikeouts for him.
And Jeremy last pitched on Saturday against Philadelphia and tossed a 3-down inning. Then I should say tossed a scoreless inning and included a couple of strikeouts.
Danny Echeverria has committed another error tonight. Back-to-back games with errors. Normally shorthanded shortstop. They're talking about Echeverria as a Gold Glove shortstop this year. The defensive metrics show him as one of the top defensive shortstops in runs saved, the UZR rating. Even better than Andrelton Simmons, who won the Gold Glove last year. The terrific Braves shortstop. So Echeverria is starting to really make a name for himself as a defender.
Got great range, good throwing arm. We saw him make a really nice play to end the game last night.
0-2 pitch. Fouled out of play.
You get 47 RBIs and a 285 batting average out of your shortstop that can play that well defensively. You've got something. Good player.
Oh, and to the count. Echeverria takes a called strike. Blistering fastball in the outside corner. With some movement on it. Strikeout for Jeffress.
Hey, reminder that this season every Sunday is an all-fan Sunday. On Sunday, August 30th, the Brewers host the Cincinnati Reds, and all fans at the ballpark will get an old-fashioned vintage Brewers bobblehead that's courtesy of Sendik's Food Markets. For tickets, go to Brewers.com today.
Is that the nodder?
That's a nodder. Yeah, they called it a nodder yesterday.
Ground ball. Nice pickup by Perez. 2 outs in the inning.
Today it's a vintage bobblehead.
It's an old-fashioned vintage bobblehead. Or did you throw in a couple of those words?
No.
No, you just.
I don't do that.
Stuck to script.
Last time I did that, you gave me a hard time.
That's an old Brewers uniform that the Nodders got on there.
70s.
Casey McGee getting an at-bat. He's a throwback player. He's a vintage kind of guy. I think when McGee's career as a player is over, you might see him into the coaching ranks, possibly even the managerial ranks. I'd say he'd have a good shot. Very well respected. Knows the game. Was a catcher coming up in the Cubs system. Never really was a prospect with the Cubs. That's how the Brewers got him originally. They took him off the roster. The Brewers claimed him and had a good run with the Brewers. That's a foul ball right off Lucroy, right off his face mask. That one had to sting a little.
Every night. Every night he gets one, whether he wants it or not.
What's that feel like, Rock?
Not good, particularly on a night like tonight. He's been catching a lot since his return from the disabled list.
I've heard catchers say these masks are better for direct hits like that than the hockey style.
Oh, they are, yeah. A little bit more padding.
Good breaking ball. They say he swung and McGee is out. He can't believe it. First base umpire Ben May says he has had enough of the top of the ninth. To the bottom of the ninth we go. 9-4. Marlins lead the Brewers. We're in the bottom of the ninth. Our dancing queen is finding out that she was on television. Thank you for entertaining us, young lady.
They're right below us.
And the other 4 that didn't dance, you all should be ashamed of yourself. The one in the middle, star. Shane Peterson will pinch hit. And the new pitcher rock is Brian Ellington.
Another hard thrower, huh? Boy, they just keep trotting him out there. That came up from AAA. I guess it's a common theme for the Marlins. A lot of these guys coming out of the bullpen recently called up. He got called up on August 3rd. Made his major league debut that night against the Mets. No shortage of big arms in that Marlins bullpen.
Marlins were expected to contend this year. Hasn't worked out that way. Had a managerial change and got off to a slow start. Can get away from you in a hurry. The Brewers know all about that. One ball, 2 strikes on Peterson. And down he goes. A strikeout to start the inning. Rock, we get to do this tomorrow. Going to be better tomorrow. Miller Lite, what's on tap? That's the beauty of baseball. You have tomorrow.
Really looked good last time out.
Tom Kohler, Willie Peralta, 12:30 airtime for Brewers Live with Craig and Davey. There's Willie. Knows he needs a good one tomorrow. Brewers are 3-2 on the homestand after they swept the Phillies. Not yet. They still could come back here. All points leading to 3-2 on the homestand. I did that once in a minor league game in a 9-0 game in the 9th inning. And the Jackson Generals, led by Lance Berkman, scored 10 runs in the 9th to win. Bouncing ball. Bobbled. No chance.
Well, there you go.
Segura reaches on an error. Second time he's been on via an error to go along with his 2 hits. 4th trip on base.
Second error for the Marlins. They have not played very well defensively, and they've been a pretty good defensive team all season. There's a hanging curveball and not handled all that well by Justin Bour. Off his chest. Not able to get Segura at first base.
Here's Lucroy. Segura takes off, and the throw to second is late. Segura steals second base.
A little bit risky right there. Down by 5 runs.
That falls into the you have to know you're going to make it category.
And it better not even be close.
Oh, man.
Or just keep running.
'19th stolen base of the season for Segura.
That's a big lead. Good jump.
Well, maybe this will be the at-bat that Lucroy gets on a hot streak. Just keep grinding. Never know when you're going to find it.
Been that kind of year for him.
Chance to drive and a run. And that's a base hit. Segura will hold up at third. No sense in testing the arm of Ichiro. Lucroy with a single. His first hit of the night. All right, the Brewers getting a little something cooking here against Ellington. Down 5. You got Braun coming up. Brewers would love nothing more than to reward these fans that have remained here. The crowd was a good one tonight. Over 30,000, 31,000 as a matter of fact, nearly 32,000. And the hardcore fans have remained to see the end of this one. Perhaps they'll witness a little history. Braun tied with Robin Yount, franchise home run record. Two on, one out. There, got jammed. Fly ball to right. Ichiro is winding it up. Here comes Segura, and he'll be held. Ichiro is such a good arm. Accurate. Doesn't throw like he used to, but he's still
good.
Very good.
Above average.
Had a decade of Gold Gloves.
The thing about Ichiro, he's always very accurate. He might not have the arm strength that he used to, but throws are normally right on the money. Another 4-hit night for him. No big deal. How many of those has he had?
All right, Brewers down to their last out. Chris Davis. Brewers need to get Hernan Perez to the plate. That's the guy you want to bat in this inning. He is in the hold right now. Davis in a 1-1. Big swing. Taking a cut at a home run.
Yeah, it's tough to center on that pitch. 97 miles an hour up around the letters.
See what it gives him here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Davis down the right field line. That's going to slice foul. Hit a long way.
And on top of that one, though, didn't he? High fastball, but it was away. Up and away. Easier to get the barrel of the bat on than up and in.
They've resumed play in Chicago, I think.
What are you in the third inning?
Close to it. Yeah, third inning. That's a long rain delay there. I'm surprised they're even playing tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's on the ground. Echeverria boots another one. Still alive. Lucroy on his way to third. It is now 9-5.
I'm not sure what's going on with Echeverria. That might be a base hit. And he has not looked very good on a couple of occasions in this series. He's already got 2 errors, and this is one that he should have had. Off the glove. Segura scores. And the Brewers, with 1 more base runner, bring the tying run to home plate.
Even if he gloves it, I think you're right. That's going to be that's a tough throw. They're going to score it as an error. But I'm not sure where the out was for Echeverria, although he did make a play very similar to that last night on Davis.
Got a terrific throwing arm. And the official scoring, they take that into consideration.
So there have been 5 errors in this game. Rogers trying to get Adam Lynn to the plate, who is now moved into the on-deck area for Perez. And now Dan Jennings says this has gone on long enough. Actually, he wants it to go on longer. He's going to make a pitching change. Not taking any chances To the bullpen he goes with the tying run on deck. We'll set up the new hurler right after this. She's still dancing. Well done. It's not contagious, apparently. A.J. Ramos, the Marlins closer, is now in.
But it is contagious, isn't it? I saw you, shaking a little bit.
No doubt.
Either that or you're a little bit tired of sitting. One of the two. Hey, 53rd appearance for Ramos and 242 earned run average, 19 out of 24. And this will be a safe situation for him. He's given him 3 home runs, an opponent batting average of 167. He appeared in last night's ball game and finished the game for the Miami Marlins. Almost said Florida again.
All right, Rogers looking for his first 4-hit game of his Brewers career. Ramos needs just 1 out. Brewers are trying to get Adam Lind to the plate. He is on deck. He would represent the tying run. He'd be pinch hitting for Perez. Oh, look out. Rogers is hit by a pitch. And the bases will be loaded, and the tying run is coming up.
Oh, this would be sweet. Well, you got the guy coming off the bench, left-hander for Craig Counsell, Adam Lind. Saved him for the right time. He's got 17 home runs this year.
So Lind will bring his 17 homers to the plate. Would love one more right here to tie this thing at 9. A.J. Ramos. And he misses. We got Herrera due next. It would be the winning run. Great numbers as a pinch hitter for Lind. Did it a lot with the Blue Jays. Looking for one mistake. And it's way outside. Ball 2.
How about the walk then the salami?
Okay.
I mean, that'll work, wouldn't it?
A bloop and a blast. A blast and a blast. A walk and a blast.
Anything that involves 10 runs.
It's a race to 10. Can the Brewers come up with a magical finish here? Down 5 when this inning began. Lind takes ball 3. In case you're wondering, Dan Jennings is Adam Lind has 3 career grand slams. Last time he hit one was 2011. Does he have the green light? 3-0. Almost deals. Lind takes ball 4.
I don't think he wanted him anyway.
So Lind walks with the bases loaded and RBI the easy way. And now a home run would win it. And Herrera's hit a grand slam this year. Chuck Hernandez back out to the mound. Walked him on 4 consecutive pitches.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't think he worried too much about walking in that situation. I mean, Adam Lind, big home run hitter, and you got Herrera on deck. I think he was very careful. If he walked him, he didn't care, and he just assumed to go after Elian Herrera here. The outfield for the Marlins extremely deep. You're thinking about a gapper, and Adam Lind average at best as far as a runner. Doesn't run all that well.
Herrera hit a grand slam on April 21st. Had the first one of the year. Brewers down 3 runs. Strike to Herrera. He's only hit 5 homers this year. He's been up and down between the major leagues and the minor leagues. Tying run at first. Winning run at the plate. And a swing and a miss. 0-2 the count. Well, the Brewers have been to their last strike before. Costly error by Echeverria on Davis has extended the inning. 0-2 pitch. Got him. And that's it. Brewers go down again to the Marlins. 9-6 the final score. A marathon here at Miller Park. 4 hits for Ichiro. And the Marlins have taken the first 2 games in this series. We'll do it again tomorrow afternoon for the finale. Time for Brewers Live. Let's send it down to Craig Kashawn, who's standing by. Craig.
Okay, BA, what a game here tonight. A long one. The Brewers make it close in the 9th inning, but come up short. We'll see if they can salvage tomorrow. We'll get you set for game 3 here from